And a big thank you to fifth-year defensive back Ryan Burns for sitting down and talking with us this week. And, of course, to head coach Pedro Arruza, who just led the Yellow Jackets out of Birdsong Hall's tunnel and onto the field on this homecoming Saturday, for joining us here on the pregame show as we get set for Randolph-Macon Bridgewater. Marty, captains at midfield. We'll see who gets the ball first in a moment. Very interesting day across the ODAC. Give us kind of a sense of what we're going to be looking for as the Yellow Jackets try to hold serve and stay on top. But there are other teams in the mix waiting to jump up in case there's an Eagle upset today.
And we'll try to keep you posted on the scores as the day goes on. First off, at Emory and Henry Day, a 1 o'clock kick, Shenandoah on the road down in Emory and Henry. The other 1 o'clock kick in the conference is Guilford playing at Hampton-Sydney. And the final game, a 4 o'clock kick, where Washington Lee travels to Ferrum. So obviously for the Yellow Jackets, Rob, you're watching Hampton-Sydney and Washington Lee in particular. They're the closest teams to you in the standings, but also keep an eye on Emory and Henry because that's where we will be next week.
That is correct. We make the long trip down to almost the Tennessee border next Saturday.
Not as bad as the trip that Shenandoah had. We were joking with them yesterday. They go from like exit 323 to exit 27, all the way down 81 from Shenandoah to down to Emory and Henry.
It's bad enough that we have to do the majority of our trip down I-81. They have to do absolutely all of it down that. Oh, boy. Nobody.
We were told it takes about a week to get there. So.
That's exactly right. Randolph-Macon has won the toss, and they have elected to defer. They want the defense that is red hot and has pitched, again, 2 shutouts in the last 2 weeks in the first half to take center stage first here this afternoon at Day Field. Crowd filing in big time now, Marty. They realize in tailgate time for now is over, that they can get back to it in a few hours, but now it's time to root on their first-place Yellow Jackets. And you mentioned the games in the ODAC this afternoon. Hampden-Sydney, Washington and Lee, both 2-1 entering conference play today. Of course, Randolph-Macon has a game in hand on Washington and Lee, having beaten them in Lexington a few weeks back. And obviously, still ahead, Hampden-Sydney in Farmville, the game on November the 10th.
And I think the nice situation, Rob, is the fact the Yellow Jackets have taken care of business thus far in the conference. Put yourself in a great position that you really control your own destiny. But each game, you got to take it one at a time. I know that sounds very trite, but you need to win here at home, and then you've got 3 games left at that point. What happens with Washington Lee and Hampton-Sydney really doesn't matter. If you're prepared each week and you win, they can't overtake you if you don't drop a ball game the rest of the way. So just prepare yourself each week, come out and play. And if you play the way you have the last 2 weeks, you're going to be difficult to beat.
Everybody wants to be the team that controls their own destiny, and the Yellow Jackets, not even halfway through the conference schedule, are in that position now, but they got to hold serve. Chris Vidal will tee it up at the 35. They're going to be moving the Yellow Jackets left to right across your PC, tablet, or mobile device. Matt DeMasi and Alex Galloway are your 2 men back deep at the goal line for Bridgewater. Homecoming 2018 is officially underway. High, deep kick. DeMasi 1 yard into the end zone. He's going to bring it out. 15, 20, hit, and then falls to the forward near the 25-yard line where Georgia Phillips will make the final tackle. And Bridgewater, under quarterback Joe Scroggins, will take over first and 10, Jay Scroggins, and we are underway here in Ashland.
Eric Harris, number 27, makes the initial contact on the tackle on the special teams, and that's going to be something the Yellow Jackets have to watch all game long. That's where they really do have some explosiveness, the Eagles, with Galloway returning a kick last week, 100 yards for a touchdown against Hampton-Sydney.
So first and 10, and immediately 3 wide receivers, and they'll bring 1 in motion. Scroggins, handoff, up the middle, and a hard 2 yards, and that will be all. That's Demetrius Jalepis, their starting tailback, sophomore. A gain of about 2. We'll call it 2nd and 8.
And Michael Sheehan and Tyler DeBerry in on the tackle for the Yellow Jackets. And a lot of, you see Calvin Whitehead out playing starting for the Yellow Jackets today. Good to see him back out. Only got probably 2 or 3 snaps on the road last week against Shenandoah. A young man who was injured. He and D'Angelo Barr back on the field today.
That is correct. Barr came past us as we were down on the field about 40 minutes ago for warm-ups. Good to see D'Angelo back. Haven't seen him since being injured there at the start of the Guilford game. Scroggins trying to pass. Now the pocket collapses. He's got to just run for his life, and he'll be tackled out of bounds They'll mark him down at the 33-yard line. So, Marty, he's able to grab 6 yards and make it a manageable 3rd and short for Bridgewater.
But never had a chance to throw the ball, Rob. He turned and looked downfield, and there was a defender in his face. Finally, the tackle on the sideline there made by Brian Sullivan. But great pressure from up front from the Yellow Jackets. Never gave him a chance to look downfield.
Jay Scroggins out of Fredericksburg. He went to James Monroe High School. He is a senior. And now the Eagles face their first 3rd down of the afternoon, but it's 3rd down and 2. The Eagles love to shift formations, do a lot of different sets. They do so here. From the 33, quarter. Gonzalez will come on to kick it away on a 4th and 1 at the 34, so 3 and out on the Eagles' first possession. And Eric Hoy is back deep, not Stephen Richardson, who we'd seen the most of the season handling the punt return duties for Randolph-Macon. Kick is away, low, wobbly. It'll take a Bridgewater bounce. Hoy will fall on it at the 20. And the Yellow Jackets will send Burke Estes and company out for the first time this afternoon. 12:45 to go, opening quarter.
And good communication at that. You saw that Hoy was not going to be able to come up and really field it, but immediately he noticed it was a short kick. He's yelling to Owen Ritter, who's one of his blockers, to get out of the way. He pointed to Owen to show him exactly where the ball was, so Owen knew which direction to go, get out of the way of that bouncing ball.
Then Hoy just swallows it up on the ground, make sure possession retained. Football just shy of the 21-yard line. 1st down and 10 for Burke Estes and the Yellow Jacket offense. First play handoff, Trey Frederick working up the middle. He'll be able to advance to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line. Trey, with these big first halves the last couple of weeks, Marty, has essentially only seen first half action.
Really, and he played very well against the Eagles last year. Had 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards. He went over 4,000 yards, Rob, all-purpose yards last week in his career against Shenandoah. So a remarkable career. But you're right, we've only seen him in the first half of the last 2 ball games.
So he'll set up to the left of Estes out of the pistol, and 3 wide receivers here to the near side on 2nd and 5. From the 26, they'll bring Hoy in motion, fake it. Estes rolling, looking downfield, got Ritter, complete, midfield, 45, down the sideline and out of bounds near the Bridgewater 40. They'll mark him out at the 41-yard line. That is a 33-yard reception.
And good throw, and the versatile Owen Ritter. We've seen him play on both sides of the ball well this year. Got some time at defensive back and makes a big catch to get the ball into the Eagle side of the field.
And you'll remember last week on that 4th down fake punt right off the bat from Shenandoah, it was Ritter who made the defensive play that gave Randolph-Macon the short field 33-yard touchdown drive. We didn't know it then, but the route was on at that point. Now, first trip into Eagle territory this afternoon. 1st and 10 Yellow Jackets at the Eagles' 41. They'll bring Hoy in motion. And it's up the middle to Frederick, and he's got nice running room. He'll get across the 35, fall forward to the 34-yard line. That's 7 for Trey on 1st down.
And you've really faked the jet sweep to Eric Hoy. They've got to honor that, and good blocking up front. Trey Frederick with a pretty good hole. Tackle finally made by number 93, Roger White.
Hoy will come out. Robbie Owens will come out. Redmond, Christian Redmond, senior from James River High School in Midlothian, checking in. And Owen Ritter back in the ball game as well, and they'll send all 3 receivers to the far side. That includes number 3, DeAndre Gill. Under center Estes this time. On 2nd down, back to Frederick, trying to cut up left side, and Eagles sniffed that one out nicely, Marty, and Trey's going to lose a yard as there was just a swarm of Eagles as he tried to make that cut.
Rayshawn Myers, number 52, penetration, is playing in the backfield against the Yellow Jacket offense. He's going to be someone you're going to need to block all game long. He's in the top 4 in the ODAC in tackles. They've got 2 very good linebackers that you're going to have to account for, Denny being the other, that you're going to have to block those guys on every play.
So a 2nd and 3 now becomes a 3rd down and 4 from the Bridgewater 35. 10:15 to go, opening quarter. And they'll send Estes out wide, and Hoy will handle the Wildcat duties. They got to get to the 31. Hoy calls his own number up the middle. First down, breaks a tackle, 25, and finally stumbles down at the 23-yard line. Marty, he keeps his footing there. He could be gone.
Finally tripped up by Luke Barnum, but you're right. He barely gets an ankle tackle there, and if he doesn't come up with that, I think he's going to score at that point. And a good lead block by Trey Frederick, but breaking 2 or 3 tackles on his own, Eric Hoy, that's the weapon he's got. He comes into the ballgame like 87 yards shy of 3,000 yards in his career all-purpose. So between he and Frederick, that's a lot of yardage between those two seniors.
That is a ton of yardage. This is a very special senior class. It is 1st and 10 at the Bridgewater 23, approaching the red zone on the opening possession. Out of the pistol, it's Estes. Back to Frederick. Thought left, cut up the middle. Finds a couple of hard yards. He'll be down to the 21. It'll be 2nd and 8.
And, Rob, you can see right away the Yellow Jackets trying to establish the run, working behind that big offensive line, and really ran the ball well against the Eagles last year. And you're trying to get both Hoy and Frederick into a little bit of a rhythm behind that line.
So Hoy will check back in for Christian Redmond on what will be 2nd and 8 at the Bridgewater 21-yard line. Estes will go out again, this time wide left, and it's Hoy in the Wildcat formation. From the 21, Hoy dancing up the middle, across the 20, and down maybe near the 18-yard line, so maybe 3 yards on that play, and we've got another 3rd down situation coming up.
Braden Thompson makes the tackle there for the Eagles, and really most of that was on his own that time for Hoy. A couple nice cuts at the point of attack to pick up a few extra yards, but seen a little bit more in this drive, first drive of the ballgame, a lot more Wildcat with Hoy than we've seen really all season long. We saw quite a bit of that last year, but first time we've seen heavy doses of it this year.
Wholesale substitutions in the skill position here for Randolph-Macon, including Sean McDonald coming into the game. He's been a tight end, a Wildcat receiver, a fullback. He's been just about everything. Estes in the pistol, 2 to the near, 2 to the far. On 3rd down, Burke, blitz coming, gets it away, and Gill can't quite make the catch near the pylon. Thought it was driven just a little bit too far out of bounds there for DeAndre to get the reception. And then the question, Marty, would have been, could he have a foot in bounds?
Yeah, I think it would have been a difficult catch to make. It really breaks down. You don't block Muhammad Khan, number 90. He comes from the outside and puts pressure on Estes. He really has to throw it, and now you've got to look like about a 45-yard field goal. It's a 35-yard field goal. Check my math there, Rob.
It is from the right hash at the 25, so it will be a 35-yard attempt out of the hold of Christian Redmond. Good snap, good hold. The kick from Vidal is up, and it is good, and it is good by a mile. That would have been good from 48 yards, and the Yellow Jackets strike first. Now, it's not what they wanted. They wanted 7, but they do get points. They grab 3, 7:55 in the first, 3-0 Randolph-Macon.
And give some credit there to the Bridgewater defense. They make a play, force your quarterback to throw the ball, make a difficult throw, and unable to make the catch at the end of it. But Vidal's become quite a weapon for you. He's now 7 for 8, I believe, on the season. Has the longest field goal in the ODAC this year with 43 yards. And I think Coach Aruza's really comfortable with him from probably about anywhere from 45 yards in, and really made that with ease.
And indeed, that is a weapon to have. He's hit 2 times from 43 yards, one of them last week there in Winchester in the win over Shenandoah. So that's good without a problem from 35, and homecoming begins nicely for the Yellow Jackets, up 3-0, 7:55 left in the first quarter. So I believe they've reset the clock and added 10 seconds to it. Thought it was 7:45 when the field goal was good, so there may have been a clock situation they needed to take care of, and Vidal will tee it up at the 35. Galloway and Demasi will be back deep again. Demasi got the football 1 yard deep in the end zone and took it out and returned it about 26 yards first time out. Here comes Chris, and he nails it. And Demasi waiting at the goal line. He'll take it from there. Galloway, the lead blocker, trying to find room right side, cuts up the middle, 20, 25, 30, 35. Vidal trying to make the stop, and they finally get him out of bounds into Randolph-Macon territory. There was some breakdowns there on special teams, Marty, and Bridgewater makes Randolph-Macon pay. 1st and 10 Eagles near the Yellow Jackets' 41-yard line.
And Rob, they're top 10 in the country as far as kickoff returns. A lot of that built around Galloway. So you intentionally kick it away from Galloway twice so far today. This time it's Demasi that beat you. And you're right, it's Vidal, your kicker, who's having to chase him down. They're going to say he stepped out at the 45-yard line. But anytime your kicker has to make the tackle on special teams, that's not a good thing.
That is never a good sign. So great field position for the Eagles. Down by 3, 1st and 10 at the Randolph-Macon 45. We get a penalty marker coming in on the first down handoff, and so we'll stop the clock at 7:37 to get the call. That was 39, Bassi Canoe on the carry. And our first flag of the afternoon. Waiting for the head official. It will be false start against Bridgewater, so it will be first down and 15 at midfield.
And they really had a lot of mistakes in their ball game last week. We talked about the 5 turnovers, and watching the interview that they did with Coach Clark on their website before the ball game, 3 of the fumbles they had were unforced fumbles. So the Eagles need to clean up some of the mistakes they made last week if they're going to have a chance to win today.
Now some wildcat of their own for Bridgewater, sending Scroggins wide to the near side. Sending 2 men in motion left to right. And now the quarterback goes under center. From midfield, Demasi in motion, handoff up the middle, and absolutely nothing there. McNair, along with DeBerry, helping out on the stop. Canoe, no gain, maybe a yard.
And Vergara also there. 3 or 4 guys really ran into a stone wall there at the point of attack, and nowhere to go. Even trying to keep your legs churning, there was just nothing there.
So they'll give him 1 to the 49, and that'll make it 2nd down and 14, coming off the long kickoff return, but then the false start penalty made it 1st and 15 at midfield. This time out of the pistol formation. 2nd and 14, Scroggins wants to pass, blitz coming, throws it up, down the left side, it's incomplete, never really had a chance, as the Yellow Jackets get intense pressure on Scroggins to force the 3rd and long.
And that came in the form of a blitz there, Rob. Number 11, Georgia Phillips. As soon as Scroggins turns, Phillips is right in his face. And second time we've done that today on a play that you think they're really going to throw the ball. He has no time to throw. He's lucky to get rid of that ball because Phillips, with a full head of steam, coming right at him and gets rid of it, but no chance to complete that pass.
Brendan Maturi, the intended receiver. He, of course, had that carry on the Wildcat in the first possession. And now a 3rd and 14. Yellow Jacket defense looking to hold here and not allow the kickoff return to turn into points. Slant screen developing. They'll stay down the far sideline. It's complete down to about the 40. It's a gain of 9, but it'll be 5 yards short of the first down. Dakota Schrader on the reception. And we'll see what the decision is here for Bridgewater on 4th down.
It looks like they're going to bring their punt team on as Anthony Williams came up and made that tackle for the Yellow Jacket defense. And you read Coach Arussa's write-up, I know both of us do each week, another team with Bridgewater that's not afraid to take some chances in their special teams. So you've got to be prepared, similar to Shenandoah last week, for any type of fake punt situation.
Hoy is back at about his 10 and clock down to 2, and Gonzalez will kick it away. Very high kick, fair catch called for by Hoy, and he will make it inside the 15 near the 13, and so Randolph-Macon will take over with worse field position than their first drive, but the first drive does yield 3, and with 6:25 to go, it is 3-0.
And so far, the defense has played well. That penalty certainly helped from the standpoint that you push them back 5 yards, make it 1st and 15, and the Eagles struggled a little bit, but defense gets 2 stops. And you're checking the clock there? Or they changed it again?
Yeah, they're going to check the clock again because it was running after the punt had been fair caught by Hoy. And I just happened to look up to give you the time remaining, and the clock was rolling. So they're going to take a second and get that straight. As probably 8 to 10 seconds ran off the clock, I would think they would make an adjustment, but I'm not seeing the head official asking for one. And so it'll be 6:18 to go in the first. 1st and 10, officially the ball at the 14-yard line for Estes. To Frederick off left side. One push will give him a couple of yards. but not much of a gain there. We'll call it 2 to the 16, 2nd and 8.
And trying to run behind Big Sam Tanner, number 87 out there, but just not a whole lot of running room. And one of the more talented linebacking cores that we'll see all year. The Eagles have got some very good athletes at linebacker, so it's going to be, you need to get your offensive line through that defensive line and get the next level to be able to block some of their linebackers.
And create the opportunities for Frederick and company to get the big gains that they've been accustomed to so far this season. 2nd and 8. Eagles showing blitz. They'll bring Hoy in motion, flip it to Eric, bobbled it a bit, then got it, gets around the corner, but he'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage as the Eagles, again, do a great job, not just penetration at the start of the play, Marty, but then pursuit going down to the far sideline.
And really contain on the edge there, would not allow Hoy to turn the corner and get upfield. So far, the Eagles' defense has played well so far. We've 10 minutes off the clock. They hold you to a field goal after that pretty good-looking drive to start for the Yellow Jackets, but
and you got to think they know about the big first halves of the last 2 weeks, and one of their game plans was keep them close. Let's be in the game in the fourth quarter and then see what happens. 3rd down, we'll call it 7, near the 17. Estes rolling right, pressure coming, got to get it out, and he throws it away. Nobody open there, Marty. Great coverage by the back 7 of Bridgewater and good pursuit up front.
Number 98, Deshaun Davis, really chasing Estes in the backfield, made it difficult. You roll your quarterback out there, try to give him some extra time, but a couple of times that we've looked to throw the ball, the Yellow Jacket quarterback Estes has not had a whole lot of time either, running for his life that time and had to throw the ball away.
Devonta Womack will set up at about his 45-yard line. Julian Drew is at his own 1. Drew gets the punt away. It's a spiral and a beautiful kick and a fair catch called for at the 45-yard line. So that is a 39-yard punt, no return. That's the big thing. Even though Bridgewater has good field position at the 45, you don't get as much hang time, and if it's returnable, you're probably in Yellow Jacket territory.
And I think for Coach Clark and the Eagles, they've got to be pretty pleased with the way their defense has played so far.
Yes.
They really need to get their offense started. They haven't seen much from their offensive unit thus far.
Scroggins under center on 1st down. Demasi will now be one of 2 wide to the right side. From the 45, they'll bring him in motion. Hand off to Demasi, trying to find the corner, gets a block, gets to midfield, caught down from behind by Calvin Whitehead, but that's a gain of 7 to the Randolph-Macon 48.
And a good block out there, number 66, Brandon Bush, the senior offensive lineman for the Eagles. Got a kick-out block to allow Demasi to get around the corner to pick up what he could. That's good pickup on 1st down.
Yes, fantastic pickup in the sense that, Randolph-Macon tried that on 2nd down with Hoy, and a great pursuit by the Eagles. Yellow Jackets got to be quicker to the football. 2nd and 3 now at the Randolph-Macon 48, 4:10 to go in the first quarter. Fake the handoff. Scroggins got a man wide open. 1st down, 45, 40, 35. Stays in bounds inside the 30-yard line. Grant Monson, the tight end. Nobody was around him. A big gain for the Eagles.
And the play action, I guess, sets that up for you, Rob. The fact that he's wide open out there in the flat. Good throw by Scroggins. And first really good look he's had down the field to try to find a receiver. Connect, and it's a big play for the Eagle offense.
21 yards on the reception. And again, no one was close to Monson.
And we have a penalty flag on the field.
Do we have a late flag on the field?
And I think it might be a block. You could see that it was, I think Georgia Phillips in pursuit, number 11, might be a block in the back at the end of that play.
And if that be the case, it'll be a spot foul and then back it up from there. So they're going to put the football at the Randolph-Macon 45. So costly in the sense that they should be inside the 30, but they do get a fresh set of downs. When they back it up to the 45, that's exactly where they needed to be for a 1st down.
And you can see
that flag there down the far side.
And it was interesting. You could see Phillips, who's trailing the play, trying to get in and make a tackle, and someone really did not get in front of him to make that block.
1st down. Scroggins fakes the handoff, looking, wants to go far, and nobody is there. Big miscommunication. Dakota Schrader was still running toward the end zone long after Scroggins threw that one away.
Looked like he had an option there. He could have thrown the bubble screen to the right, but chose to go deep, and the deep route never really materialized and just had to throw it away again. Had better time or more time to throw on that play.
So now we need to see the Yellow Jackets defensive line start to get pressure on Scroggins. We've already seen early pressure by Bridgewater's D-line on Estes. 2nd and 10 from the Randolph-Macon 45, 3:24 to go. Here in quarter number 1, Yellow Jackets up 3-0. Galloway comes in motion. Handoff up the middle. Spinning for about 3 yards, maybe to the 42-yard line. And it will be a third down as Jalopis gets a couple.
Michael Sheehan in there on the tackle for the Yellow Jackets. Get some help from some of his linebacking friends as well.
They'll send out Monson, the tight end. He'll go to the bench. Substitutions for Bridgewater as Marty. They face a 3rd and 8 here at the Yellow Jacket 43. Under 3 minutes to go first quarter. 2 to the near, 2 to the far. Scroggins surveys the scene. Barr playing some center field. Yellow Jackets bring 6. Blitz is on. Throws over the middle and overthrowing his intended receiver, Alex Galloway, and Calvin Whitehead was with him stride for stride. And the blitz forces a bad pass from Scroggins, and the long kickoff return will go for naught.
And you bring the extra man. It really caused some blocking issues up front, but it was really number 90, Aaron Cox, that got to the quarterback, makes contact with Scroggins as soon as he releases the ball. A third time today we've seen that Scroggins really doesn't have a chance to deliver a clean pass. The Yellow Jacket defense stepped up, made a play.
Hoy again at his 10-yard line. Gonzalez in for his 3rd punt of this first quarter. 2:35 to go. One thing the Yellow Jackets haven't had is good starting field position. Nice return here would be good. Low snap. Gonzalez gets it away. And it's going to take a Bridgewater bounce inside the 10 and die near the 9-yard line. So another long field for Burke Estes and company. First down and 10, up 3-0 with 2:23 to go here in the first quarter.
And the first drive the Yellow Jackets had, Rob, you get points out of it and look pretty good until you get pressure on your quarterback, force a bad throw. But I think the last 2 times the Yellow Jackets have had the ball offensively, they've struggled to really get anything going. Bridgewater defense shutting them down a little bit.
So deep in their own territory, I need to stand to see the play. Marty, 1st and 10, the ball officially at the 9. Estes under center this time. Frederick's your tailback. Trey gets the football. Good running room. He's hit at the 2nd level, however. He'll fall forward for close to 5 to the 14-yard line, 2nd and 5.
And he had an opening there. That nice play by their free safety. It looks like it's number 29 coming up to make the tackle.
And
Denham.
Yeah, and without that stop, it's wide open territory for Frederick. So the big left side of the line doing their job. It'll be 2nd down. We'll call it right at 5 yards to go. Estes out of the pistol this time. Back to Frederick. Dancing left, nothing there. Goes right and gets caught from behind. He'll lose a yard, maybe 2, and it'll be 3rd and long.
And that's big Deshaun Davis again, the young man who had pressure on Burke Estes in the last series. Makes a nice play at the line of scrimmage because it looked like Frederick had a chance to bounce that to the outside. But Davis would not let him get away.
Been very impressed so far early by the interior defense of Bridgewater. And with 1:20 to go here in the first period, it's a 3rd down and about 6. Ball rests near the 14. They got to get just shy of the 20, about the 19 and a half. Estes under center. Play action. Dumps it complete to Frederick. Had blockers but didn't have anyone behind him, and there's 98 again. Stop and Trey from behind. It'll be 4th down.
And that's a great play. Davis slides in behind the blockers to make the tackle. You can clearly see they let the rushers come. You set that screen up, and Frederick's got blockers in front, but no one accounts for Deshaun Davis, and he makes the play. That's a huge individual tackle because if he doesn't make the play, there's a lot more room ahead of Trey Frederick.
And suddenly 3 and out. Randolph-Macon cannot get out of their own end zone area, and they'll have to kick it away from the goal line. Drew another good kick, but this one returnable from the 39-yard line. 45, midfield. I see a hold. We'll see if we get a flag or not. All the way down to the 35-yard line on the return is Womack. Nice return. No flag. Phillips, somebody had a hold of his jersey like nobody's business, but it is not called in the Eagles deep into Yellow Jacket territory at the 35.
And twice today that the Eagles have taken advantage of their kick return or punt return game to give them good field position. Now they need to see whether they can capitalize it. Ball at the Randolph-Macon 30.
Jalopis is your tailback. 1st down. Scroggins will go under center. 2 in motion left to right. Now they'll bring Galloway in motion. He'll take it on the jet sweep. Looking for room and won't have any. Brian Sullivan gets off of his blocker and pushes him out of bounds, and it'll be second down.
And he's probably the most dangerous player on the offensive side of the ball for the Eagles. We mentioned the 100-yard kick return last week. He also scored on a 43-yard jet sweep against the Tigers. Nice play by Sullivan to get off his block, as you mentioned, force him out of bounds. Really no ability to turn the corner there on the right side.
So no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10 when we go to quarter number 2. Well, the Yellow Jackets not sprinting out to a big lead on this homecoming, but they do have the lead after one. It's Randolph-Macon 3, Bridgewater nothing. Back after this 60-second timeout. This is Randolph-Macon College football on 102.9 The Mater. Bridgewater from the Randolph-Macon 35 as we start the second quarter, setting up a screen. It's complete. And number 88, Dakota Schrader, trying to get rid of 34, Calvin Whitehead, and he says no. It'll be a gain of only 2, 2nd and 8.
And we saw Calvin come in and play a couple snaps last week against Shenandoah. Nice to have him back in the lineup. Great tackle that time. It was one-on-one in the open field and just would not let go. Nice open field tackle on the part of Calvin Whitehead.
So it'll be third down, check that. That was a second down call to start the second quarter. 3rd down and 8 at the 33 of Randolph-Macon. 3-0 Yellow Jackets. 35-yard Chris Vidal field goal in the opening drive. The difference, the first drive of the game for Randolph-Macon after they held Bridgewater to 3 and out. Scroggins, quick pass. It is a diving attempt, but incomplete at the 20-yard line, intended for Schrader. Just wasn't able to haul it in, and Anthony Williams on the coverage. And now a 4th and 8. What do you do here?
It looks like they're going to bring on their punt team, it looks like. So you figure you've got the ball twice now that you've had a good return, gives you good field position in Yellow Jacket territory, and twice the Eagle offense not able to take care of it. One thing they have done is their punter's done a great job of pinning Randolph-Macon back deep, and I guess you continue to punt it deep, and hopefully maybe the Yellow Jackets make a mistake, and you can capitalize on that.
Precisely. So Gonzalez is set at the Randolph-Macon 48. Hoy is at his 10. A break would be if he popped this one into the end zone. End over end kick. There'll be no return. It takes a Randolph-Macon bounce, but will be downed at about the 9-yard line. So again, very bad field position for Randolph-Macon. And now this is the perfect opportunity, Marty, for a classic Randolph-Macon drive. If you're going to keep pinning us back at some point, the big guys up front have got to create the holes for Trey and company, and they need a 91-yard drive.
And I think we're really not seeing the same play from the offensive line in the early going that we saw last week. The same holes that we saw last week are not there. Give credit to the Eagle defense. They've played well up front, and Jackets not finding much running room.
Estes out of the pistol on 1st and 10. Frederick to his left at the 9-yard line. Frederick looks left, got room. 15, 20, stays on his feet, out of bounds. First down, Randolph-Macon. 15 for Trey Frederick to the 24.
Number 27, Denny, has to come make the tackle. Not sure if that was actually designed to go up the middle, but the vision from Trey Frederick sees that there's more running room to the left side. He bounces it out in the open field, and he's off to the races at that point in time, and they're chasing him and finally pushing him out of bounds.
Officially a 16-yard gain. They'll put the football, the nose of it, right at the 25. 1st and 10, Randolph-Macon. A minute and a half gone by here in the second period. A 3-0 Yellow Jacket lead. Estes right back to Trey. Bounces up the middle. 30 to the 31. Gain of 6. And now, Marty, they're starting to get some traction up front.
Running behind that left side of the offensive line. This time number 36, Daquan McGee, has to come up and make the tackle.
Alex Halkias in at left guard. And it'll be 2nd down. We'll call it 4. Jordan Rochester out there at left tackle. And, of course, All-American Greg Castle over now playing right tackle. 3-man set up around Estes here. Little triangle action. Jordan Foster gets the first call of the day. Frederick, the lead blocker, but again caught from behind on the tackle after a gain of just a yard, but it'll bring up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, looked like that was number 28, Luke Barnum, in on the tackle. Doing a nice job to play behind the line of scrimmage. Interesting set. I'm not sure if we've seen that set up, and the ball goes to Foster, but Jackets have 3rd and manageable, but they haven't done a good job of converting on 3rd down so far in the early going as well.
No, they have not. It was now, they were 1 of 4 in the first quarter.
Bridgewater 0 of 3, so neither team getting it job done on 3rd down.
But this one should be, it's 3rd and 1. You expect to pick up a yard. From the 34, it's Frederick. He gets hit, falls forward. The question's going to be, where was the knee?
Now it's going to be a really difficult call. Bobby Hicks, number 99, their defensive tackle, with penetration, and they're going to give him the first down.
Nose of the football resting just on the white, and if that's the case, you get the first down. So by a hair, Frederick will get a new set of downs for Randolph-Macon. First down at the 35. Really doesn't matter how it gets done, but that it gets done.
Yeah, so only the second time you've converted on third down. Nice to see if you can put a drive together. The first drive was not bad. You get the field goal out of it, but since then it's really been 3 and out for both squads.
At the 35, 11:35 to the half, first and 10. Hoy comes in motion. Frederick up the middle, cuts right. Plenty of room. Midfield, 40. It's a foot race, and no one will catch Trey Frederick. Touchdown, Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. A 65-yard burst right side for Trey Frederick, and it's 9-0 Randolph-Macon.
And Rob, from our vantage point, you could see it about midfield that nobody was going to catch him. Once he got to the outside, you could count the number of defenders that had a chance and eliminate them one by one as he runs by them for that 65-yard touchdown.
I always know here in the booth, fans, when Marty raises the finger on a play like that, he's looking and going, no, 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 he can't either. And Frederick to the house, 65 yards on the run. Vidal's point after attempt is up, and it is good. 11:20 to go in the first half, and that is Randolph-Macon football. It's 10-0 Yellow Jackets.
Well, we talked about the fact in the last 2 weeks you really haven't seen a whole lot of Trey Frederick. The scores have been so lopsided, the fact he only plays the first half. Today he looked like a game that you're going to need a lot more from him. He should be rested. Had a big game against these guys last year. Had 4 touchdowns in the first half against the Eagles. So he knows that he's been effective running the ball against the Eagles in the past. And that's just a big play to really open this ball game up a little bit more. And after battling bad field position for the entire first half, he finally put one in the end zone.
And let's give credit where credit's due to the Randolph-Macon defense, where possession after possession, they were backed in their own side of the field. Bridgewater would have the football sometimes as deep as the Randolph-Macon 40, 45-yard line to start drives, and there is still a 0 on the Eagles' side of the scoreboard. They were able to hold serve, as it were, until the offense were able to tilt the field and get the big drive, which they just did on the 65-yard run.
And we talked in the pregame about how well our defense has played the last several weeks. You pitched shutouts in that first half of the last 2 weeks against Guilford and Shenandoah. A lot of new faces back there as well. It's nice to see D'Angelo Barr and Calvin Whitehead back in uniform today, but it gave a lot of the younger guys and some of the second-teamers a chance to play, and you developed a pretty strong defensive unit now.
Some invaluable experience gained in that secondary over the last few weeks, as Vidal will boot it away, and this time drive Demasi 3 yards deep, and he'll take a knee, and Bridgewater will send out Scroggins and company, but now down 10-0, 11:20 to go before halftime. And Marty, at the half, you have a fantastic guest, and can't wait to hear about this brand new program here at Randolph-Macon.
Yeah, our halftime guest will be Dr. Cindy Rubenstein, the new director of the nursing program at Randolph-Macon. We'll talk to her. If you haven't heard, that Randolph-Macon will now be offering a nursing major. That was just really announced in April of 2018 and certified by the Virginia Board of Nursing in August of 2018, so brand new, and Cindy will be our guest at the half.
That will be a fascinating conversation. Very excited to see that addition to the academic program. Pitch on first down. Jalopis is going to get caught at the line of scrimmage. We get a flag down, and that'll stop the clock with 11:13 to go here in the first half. So let's get the call from the official. Yellow Jacket defense seems to be very happy about the most recent developments. And the call now from the official. Holding Bridgewater, and they will accept the penalty. And it'll make it 1st and 20 now. And certainly, yeah, you stop them on first down, but 1st and 20 versus 2nd and 10 with the defense that you have, I take 1st and 20.
And that's the second time that the Bridgewater Eagles have taken a penalty early on. They were 1st and 15 on their last drive, 1st and 20 now. Brian Sullivan actually came up and made a nice tackle at the end of that last play, but you'll certainly take the penalty.
So from the 15 at 11 minutes to the half, they'll bring a man in motion and then stop. And now another. And the handoff to the man in motion, trying to get around the end. That's Demasi. He'll be able to get out of bounds near the 20-yard line, so he'll pick up some of the penalty yardage back, and it'll still be those 2nd and long. They'll say gain of 5 to the 20.
A pretty nice play on the edge there. Joel Calkins doesn't make the tackle, but takes on a blocker and forces that play to go wide and allows his teammates to come up and help with that play.
Sometimes you're not the one to finish the play, but you're the one that has to set it up. And if you don't make that setup, it then becomes more difficult for your teammate to try to make that tackle. 2nd and 15. At the 20, 10:25 to the half. Scroggins under center. Brings Maturi in motion, hands it off to him, and nothing doing. Look at Tyler DeBerry. Wow, what a play.
Playing behind the line of scrimmage and read that perfectly. I think that they run a lot of those jet sweeps just like we do, so that's probably a lot of film work, understanding when that ball's in motion. That's DeBerry's key, and certainly makes a nice tackle, and it brings him down for about a 3 or 4 yard loss behind the line of scrimmage.
So we're looking now at about 3rd down, and we'd say 18 and a half, the football between the 16 and 17 yard line, and now the Yellow Jackets have a chance to really tilt the field here. We're going to get an official's timeout, and I believe one of the Yellow Jackets has to come out. Might be an equipment issue or something like that. 36, Michael Sheehan.
Yeah,
so
replaced by Aaron Cox.
And Cox has been playing lights out here the last few weeks on the line for Randolph-Macon.
I think the defense as a unit has played very well, trying to get their 3rd consecutive first half shutout.
They had reset the play clock, so plenty of time for the Eagles. 3rd down and about, we'll call it 18 and a half. They got to get to the 35-yard line. Galloway in motion. Scroggins, draw. Up the middle, across the 20 to the 21, and that'll be all, and the Eagles will have to kick.
Conservative play call, but you figure they don't want to take a chance of turning the ball over deep in their own zone. You pick up what you can and you punt the ball away, and the difference now is the fact their punter is not going to be able to really punt the Yellow Jackets deep. Hoy ought to be setting up at about his own 45-yard line.
Yeah, they have to really change how Jose Gonzalez punts the football. He's been doing it in such a way to where, it would stay high and kick back and pin him deep, and now you got Hoy at his own 45, and Gonzalez is going to have to try to boot a good spiral away here. Force the fair catch. 8:35 to the half, 10-0 Yellow Jackets. Play clock down to 5. They get it off, and there's the kick. Hoy at the 39, 45, midfield, fumble. Ball loose at the 46, and I believe Bridgewater has the football, and the first turnover of the afternoon may belong to the Eagles.
Hoy got it back, and
Did he
back,
get it back?
Back judge, he comes running off the field with the ball in his hand, so a little bit lucky there, the fact that I was going to say that's only a 2nd punt return that we've actually attempted to return this year. Ball gets banged out from behind, and Hoy was able to scramble on the turf and come up with it, and the referee steps in and motions that it's Yellow Jacket football.
That is an amazing play by Hoy fans. From my perspective, Marty, the Eagle there on the play right there at the 46, he had the football. Eric dove, and it was like he was just kind of trying with his right arm to swipe it in a desperation attempt, and it must have worked because when the ref arrived, Hoy had the football.
Yeah, a little bit of a break there for the Yellow Jackets. They hold on to that. You got great field position at the end of that punt return.
So they're at the Bridgewater 46, breathing a sigh of relief and seeing now if they can add to the 10-0 lead. Hoy in motion. Handoff. Frederick cuts up the middle to the 40 and down to the 39-yard line. So again, nice first down run, another 7-yard chunk for Trey Frederick, and that's how you know the Yellow Jacket offense is working.
Roger White, number 93, again on the tackle for the Eagles. But you're right, Rob. I think they've switched up a little bit. The touchdown went to the right side. That time they run the play to the right side early on, even feeding Trey Frederick behind the left side of that offensive line. But getting a little bit better push up front these last couple drives.
And that's what the Yellow Jackets like to do, wear you down, and maybe that process has just begun. 65-yard touchdown drive last time. Estes on the pass, complete to Ritter, who dives for it at the 35. The way Burke threw that football, really no chance for Owen to turn and try to get upfield, but it will be just enough for the first down.
Yeah, really, the completion percentage for neither quarterback is really going to be that impressive here in the first half. Nice catch there by Ritter because he's got to go to the turf to make the catch, but very little gain.
Owen, we've seen him play well defensively, offensively, the big special teams play on the opening drive last week.
You got to wonder, does he just walk into the meetings on Sunday or Monday and go, Coach, which side of the ball am I on this week?
Yeah, probably does. He's like, okay, offensive meeting, defensive meeting, I'll be at both. From the Bridgewater 35, first down. Frederick eludes one man to the 30 and then tripped up and held down there.
Luke Barnum.
Yeah, 28, Luke Barnum comes up, makes the shoestring tackle. Otherwise, it's another big gain for Trey. He gets about 5 to the 30.
And pretty good patience. It looked, again, that might have been designed to go inside between the tackle and the guard, bounces at the outside and picks up what he can.
Clock now at 6:40 to go to the half. Remember, Randolph-Macon will get the football to start the second half after winning the toss and deferring. Foster, one of two wide receivers to the far side. 2nd and 5, fake. Estes throws. Ritter complete. 20, first down. Yellow Jackets. Owen Ritter again.
So not only on the offensive side of the ball, he's become your primary target here in the first half. I think that's his third catch so far in this ball game. Takes a little bit of a shot at the end of that tackle made by Devontae Womack, but he's a big target. I think trust his quarterback. If you put the ball anywhere within range, and no one's going to go up and make a play on it. And 3 catches here in the early going.
When Estes was on the pregame show with us a few weeks ago, he talked about how he loved having the big tight end targets. He's got to absolutely adore Owen Ritter.
Yeah.
At the wide receiver position, 6'5" and 200 pounds. Out of the pistol, 1st and 10. Yellow Jackets are in the red zone. Hoy in motion, fake to him. Handoff Frederick, and he just kind of slipped and fell there, Marty. And
lost his footing, yeah.
Yeah, and fell forward and got back to the line of scrimmage. The Gremlins get the tackle.
And we've seen that play quite a bit so far in the early going. You fake the jet sweep to Eric Hoy, and you hand off to Trey Frederick. Not sure how much of a hole there was ahead of him, but didn't even get a chance to test the hole because just lost his footing and stumbled forward. I'm going to say really no gain on the play as the ball spotted at the 20-yard line.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 with 5:20 to go in the half. Randolph-Macon 10, Bridgewater nothing in front of a packed house here on Homecoming 2018. Play clock to 7. Estes out of the pistol. Frederick and Hoy join him in the backfield. Trey gets the call, tries to go around left side, carries a defender.
Conversion opportunity.
They're certainly in Chris Vidal range, but they're not interested in 3. They want 7. Redmond, Ritter, out wide right. Estes, 3rd and 6 from the 16. Frederick, your lone tailback. Estes in the pistol. Mike Avon to the near side. Burke, back to pass. Looks, got his tight end. That's Sam Tanner. Inside the 10, near the 8. 1st and goal, Randolph-Macon.
And you set the receivers out, Rob. 3 receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and then you just sneak your tight end right down the seam. And not a great throw. It looked like Tanner had to reach behind him a little bit and make the catch. But you mentioned your tight ends are so big that you put it anywhere in the vicinity, they're going to pull it in. Great catch by Tanner, and you move the chains.
Tanner, the Lee Davis graduate, makes it 1st and goal. Randolph-Macon, 8-yard line, just under 4 minutes to go in the half. Opportunity for these Yellow Jackets right now to make it a 17-point game, knowing they get the ball to start half number 2. Fake the handoff. Estes rolling, looking back at the end zone. Got Tanner. Touchdown. Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. 2 men out there were heavily covered, Marty, but they didn't see Tanner sneak in there in the back of the end zone, and it's 16-0.
And really good vision on the part of your quarterback because he had Owen short and I think Redmond short. They both, as you mentioned, were covered up, but you've got your 3rd tight end in that lineup running along the back line, which is Tanner wide open. All you had to do was toss it over the defender, and a pretty easy catch for the 6.
That was a good throw by Burke. He had to have the right touch, and Tanner needed a foot in bounds. No problem. Vidal in for the point after attempt. Out of the hold of Redmond. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 3:40 to go to the half, and Randolph-Macon faithful feeling a lot better about things now, Marty, with the scoreboard reading Yellow Jackets 17 and Bridgewater nothing.
And a good drive there. You figure you mix it up a little bit. Trey Frederick gets a couple good runs. Owen Ritter involved in the passing game. Tanner catches 2 balls on that as well, finally finishing it off with a touchdown. But your quarterback really engineered a nice drive for you. Slowly, you're beginning to build this lead. And you mentioned earlier about the fact that the one constant in the half has been your defense not giving up any points, not giving up any real first downs. And finally, the offense gets into gear and starts putting some points on the board.
So the defense holds serve in all those times where Bridgewater, we were in Randolph-Macon territory. Yellow Jackets couldn't get out of deep in their own territory. Then they finally do. Frederick for a big early first down. Then Trey breaks it 65 yards to the house for the first touchdown of the afternoon here in this second quarter. And then you get the the almost fumble recovery there from Bridgewater. You catch a break as Hoy's able to swipe the football away there on the ground to get possession, and that turns into a 46-yard touchdown drive. Sam Tanner playing a big part, getting the catch for the first and goal, and then the 8-yard touchdown reception in the back of the end zone. 17-0. Randolph-Macon, 3:40 to go, and Vidal will tee it up here at the 35-yard line. And again, Galloway, Damasi are back deep for the Eagles. Vidal drives it deep. Damasi 2 yards deep, will bring it out. 10, 15, and he is stuffed inside the 20-yard line. Jordan Foster helping out. Harrison Smith helping out too on special teams, and they pin the Eagles deep in their own territory.
And you can see Foster and Smith both fired up coming off the field there after making that tackle, getting a lot of congratulations from their teammates on the sideline. Good coverage that time, and you've been successful in keeping the ball away from Galloway for the most part in your kick return game. Damasi, both dangerous, but Galloway probably more so, and you get a nice tackle on special teams.
You don't get to wear a hard hat without a turnover, but you'll get big congratulations on a heavy hit special teams-wise. Play action pass, Scroggins looking, tight end, can't make the catch at the 20-yard line, intended for Grant Monson, but that one's thrown just a bit behind him, right at his helmet.
And the ball hung up on his shoulder pad for a moment. Joe Calkins was closing very quickly. That stays up for another moment. Calkins might be able to grab that out of the air, but a throw that's a completable pass, you just need to lead him more out into his route towards the sideline. You threw it behind him. He had to stop and sort of reach back and just couldn't pull it in.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Clock stops with 3:28 to go in the half. Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts. Scroggins in the pistol this time. 3 wide receivers. Now they'll bring Galloway in motion near to far. Scroggins, quarterback draw. Up the middle, finds room, cuts left, breaks away from another man, and brought down near the first down marker at about the 27-yard line. Sullivan helping out on the stop. Scroggins with great patience there.
Yeah, second time they've called his own number in a quarterback draw. Last time was in a 3rd and long situation, trying to pick up a little bit of yards to improve their punting situation. But this time, good hard running downfield, and he picks up a good first down for the Eagle offense.
So the Eagles get a much-needed first down at the 26-yard line as we come up to the 3-minute mark here in the first half. Eagles understand the urgency of this particular possession, down 17 and having to start on defense in quarter number 3. Handoff up the middle and very little there. Half a yard at the most. The interior linemen doing their job, and that was 39 again. Canu on the carries, 2nd and 10.
Looked like Phillips and Blanco in on the tackle for the Yellow Jackets as well, but really no running room up front. The defensive line plugging all the holes and then allowing your linebackers to come up and make some tackles.
Monson will check out, as will number 80, Connor Clefman, the 2 tight ends. They'll go with more of a skill set. 5 wide here on 2nd and 10, clock at 2:12 in the half. Scroggins looking, pocket collapses, gets out, wanted to throw, can't, runs for his life, and knocked out of bounds.
That's Blanco chases him out of bounds. But the constant pressure, Sullivan stepped up and made him pull the ball down at one point. First off, you flush him out of the pocket, and you only rushed 4, it looked like, at that point, because Sullivan and Blanco had stayed back for coverage, but were able to contain him and force him to pull the ball down and run with it, and not much of a gain.
We will have a timeout called here, and the timeout will be taken by the Randolph-Macon defense at the 32-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5 with 1:55 to go, and I think this timeout's for 2 reasons, Marty. 1, make sure you stop them on 3rd down. 2, save some time to try to get the football back.
Yeah, you made pretty good field position out of this, I think, and you're right, just trying to, you figure you've got maybe one more offensive drive. Key thing is to understand what they're going to look to run. I don't think it's a scenario where they would go for it on 4th down if they don't get it on 3rd. But if you get that stop, then it's all about the preparation of where do you get the ball, and you have a chance to maybe put additional points on the board.
And again, you're in a situation to where if you could get the football, let's say at the 35 or the 40, you only got to travel about 35 yards, and Chris Vidal, you're in his territory.
Yeah, I think really a couple first downs would get him in range. So Jackets to see what they'll bring out from a defensive standpoint. Last time in this scenario, the Eagles went 5 wide. Look like they're going to go 4 wide with a tailback.
And it'll be 3rd down and 5 at the 32. Out of the timeout with exactly 2 minutes to go in the half. Aaron Cox late getting off the field. And now we get the penalty. And it's going to be a free 5 yards for Bridgewater on the mental mistake. Cox thought he was supposed to check in, and he wasn't.
And that's interesting because you figure you had a timeout. In that timeout scenario, and the Yellow Jackets are clapping Calvin Whitehead, is that it's going to be against the Eagles, but
or they're waving the flag off.
I think they're going to
pick it up. Picked it up. Yes, so it's would have been a free first down. It's now 3rd and 5 still at the 32. Back to pass. Scroggins looking left side. His receiver slips. Did he catch the ball at the 40? He does. That's 85 on the reception, Devontae Smith. And it's a first down for Bridgewater at the 40.
So now the Eagles convert, and they're looking to see if they can get a couple more first downs and see if they can get on the board.
And they have all 3 timeouts remaining. Scroggins, quick pass, incomplete. Not turning around in time with Smith. And that'll stop the clock with 1:44 to go, 2nd and 10.
And not a really good throw there. He's open. You're going to get about 5 or 6 yards if you make a good throw and let him make a catch, but that ball really thrown 2 yards behind him.
Phillips will check out. Victor Robinson back in. He's one of the players that benefited so much getting those time opportunities here in ODAC play the last few weeks when Whitehead and Barr were not available.
I think Steven Richardson and Georgia Phillips also on that list as
Yes.
well. Guys that were going to get playing time, but I think their playing time really increased significantly with the injuries, and they've all played very well.
They most certainly have. There is some confusion on the Bridgewater side, and one thing you don't want to do is have to burn a timeout, and that's exactly what the Eagles have to do here with 1:44 to go, facing 2nd and 10 at their own 40, 17-0 the score. They'll use their first timeout. So, Marty, we'll check the ODAC scoreboard at the half. We'll go over the first half stats, and for those who just joined us here recently, fantastic halftime guest coming up.
We've got Dr. Cindy Rubenstein, director of the nursing program for Randolph-Macon. She's sitting in the booth next to us here. So exciting the fact that I think it was one of President Lindgren's keys. He wanted to add a nursing program. It came into fruition throughout a couple different steps during the course of the 2018 calendar year. And Dr. Cindy Rubenstein, the first leader of the nursing program, she'll be our halftime guest. It's just interesting to hear what she has to say about how you begin to build out a brand new academic program on campus.
Yes, it's a very exciting bit of news. People were thrilled across campus back in the spring when it was announced that that would begin in the fall of 2019. It's been a lot of great academic progress in the ODAC here recently. Lynchburg and Virginia Wesleyan becoming universities, and this huge addition here to the undergrad program at Randolph-Macon. Out of the timeout, 2nd and 10 at the 40. Scroggins, the quarterback draw, and nothing doing there. A host of Yellow Jackets, including Tyler DeBerry. It's a loss of yardage, and another timeout is called.
And DeBerry has played well up front for the Yellow Jackets in this first half, and Jackets playing their defensively with a lot of pride. Thinking the fact they're working on possibly a 3rd consecutive first half shutout. Very stingy as far as giving up points in the first 30 minutes of play in both football games the last 3 weeks.
No doubt about it. And they lost a yard officially to the 39, and so that's going to be 3rd down and 11 for Bridgewater, and that was a Randolph-Macon defensive timeout. And again, 2 purposes: set up your 3rd down defense and try to get a little time left for your offense if possible, here with 1:38 to go in the half. Yellow Jackets came in today atop the ODAC at 3-0. Hamden, Sidney, Washington, and Lee were both 2-1. Everybody else was 1-2. And, of course, the Yellow Jackets have a game in hand on the Generals after the head-to-head win in Lexington in the ODAC opener 3 weeks ago. And, of course, Hamden-Sydney looms November 10th. Timeout complete. 3rd down and 11 at the 39 for Bridgewater. 1:38 to the half. Scroggins back, looking out of the flat, complete. Demasi, first down and more. Out of bounds at the Randolph-Macon 45. Great play call by Bridgewater.
Yeah, it really gets him in a position now. You can have a couple more plays to run, a chance to put points on the board. One of the best looking plays that they've, as far as execution, the Eagles run in the first half.
Defensive coaches for Randolph-Macon have to be bitterly disappointed in that breakdown, allowing that to develop, and Demasi gets it, they'll say officially, to the Randolph-Macon 46. 1:32 to go in the half. Bridgewater trying to get on the scoreboard, down 17-0. Scroggins back to pass, looks, got his man Smith complete, tackled at the 38-yard line by Anthony Williams. That's a gain of 8 yards.
And he's really been looking a lot more for Devontae Smith, a freshman for them. He's been targeted 3 times on this drive.
Quickly back to the line. They get the play call. Scroggins will bark out the signals. 1:12 clock running here in the half. Eagles still have a pair of timeouts. Scroggins looking. Now is going to run. Gets away from one man. Caught from behind by DeBerry and loses his helmet at the end of the play. A yard gain to the 37, so short of the first down, and he's going to have to come out for a play.
Yeah, Matt Lawton, the sophomore quarterback out of Thomas Dale High School, is going to have to come on, and that's going to force the Eagles to take a timeout. So your starting quarterback comes out of the ballgame for a moment. You bring in your backup who hasn't taken a snap, and you figure you probably would take this timeout to make sure that your sophomore quarterback knows what you want to call at that point and make sure you've got the right play call for him. But interesting. It's just a challenging scenario where your quarterback loses his helmet and has to step out of the ballgame.
Now let's see if also using that timeout allows them to bring back Scroggins. If that might have been the reason they looked and said, oh, yeah, maybe they would have thought about calling a timeout on a 3rd and 1. But now, with that happening, maybe it forced their hand and they had no choice to do it. We'll see if Scroggins comes back in. Or if it would be the sophomore out of Thomas Dale and Chester, and it will be Scroggins. So they were able to use the timeout to get him back in.
I guess that's what the NCAA rules. If you take the timeout, he's able to stay in the ballgame. So good use of that timeout on the part of Coach Clark and his staff.
A veteran move from a head coach who's looking for his 150th career win here this afternoon. He's 149, 99, and 1.
And now there's some conversation. I think they're having a conversation exactly about that. You can see the coaching staff, they were asking Scroggins to leave the field. And there's a conversation about whether he's eligible to play for this play. And they finally go, I think Coach Clark says, when I call the timeout, he becomes eligible. There was a question, I think, between the referees there as far as whether he could stay in the ball game.
And the officials have now figured that out, and indeed it is Scroggins under center. 3rd and 1, he'll call his own number, and I don't know if he got it. There's some Yellow Jackets pointing in the Yellow Jacket direction.
As if they're saying almost like the ball came loose.
Right. We're not seeing any indication of a turnover.
No, so the Eagles will keep it, but they'll probably bring the sticks from across the field to see whether he got the first down.
They're going to say officially 4th down, and now they restart the clock. We're under 47 seconds to go, and the Eagles are waiting to get their play call in. This is taking a ton of time. Now they race to the line. 37 to go. 4th and inches. Scroggins keeps it himself, gets the first down to the 32. That'll be enough to move the chain, stop the clock that long. Now they got to get up and spike the football, and they will. That stops the clock with 27.9 left here in the half.
And good presence of mind by Scroggins. He took a hard hit at the end of that play by Whitehead, but shook that off and knew he needed to get right back to the line of scrimmage and clock that ball to stop the clock.
Galloway will check out. Jalepis will also check out. Demasi will stay in. He will be your tailback. 32 of Randolph-Macon. Eagles trying to score points for the first time today. Scroggins back to pass, looking, flushed out of the pocket. Ton of room to run, directing traffic. Penalty marker comes in. Scroggins stumbles to the 15. We've got 2 flags. I think an obvious one on, Maturi. Either
block in the back
or a block in the back, one of the two.
Right in front of the Yellow Jacket bench. Pretty obvious that he wanted to be able to help the ball carrier, but really came from behind. And
as you mentioned earlier on that other penalty, Marty, it's all about positioning. If you're behind the player, you don't have any choice. You can't touch him. You can't block him. It's going to get called.
And really, 2 of the officials right there and right in front of the Yellow Jacket bench. Everybody along in black and gold and in front of us saw that, and that's going to cost me another difficult penalty for the Eagles.
So now they're back to the Randolph-Macon 35, 19.4 seconds to go. 2nd and 13, Scroggins, blitz coming, looking, throwing, Paul batted away. Anthony Williams gets in front of Smith, it would have been a heck of a catch had he been able to do it, but Williams got a paw on it, incomplete.
The Jackets continue their good play in the defensive secondary. They broke up 10 passes last week at Shenandoah. That time Williams is going to get credit for one. I think he got his hand on it to bat that one away.
Wholesale substitutions. Galloway back in now for Bridgewater at the 35 of Randolph-Macon, 3rd and 13. But the bigger issue is 14.7 seconds left in the half.
And they look a little confused as 88's going to have to hustle off the field for.
And do we get a timeout? Yeah, Bridgewater is going to have to burn their final timeout. So no situation now. That totally changes your play call ability, Marty, because at 14 seconds, if you could run a draw or try to get something up the middle and maybe get to the 15 or 20 and send your field goal unit on, because you'd have a timeout to get them out there. And now you don't have it anymore, and we have a penalty flag on the field.
Yeah, I think that's going to be, we'll see what they call, but.
You would think a legal substitution, would you not?
I would think, yeah. Schrader was struggling to get off the field, but.
Now the question will be, if they called the timeout, will they pick up the flag? And the answer is no. I don't think so. I think they're going to move it.
And Logan Weiss, their kicker, 5 of 6 on the season, along a 41. So he also has some range, but that really just pushed him a little bit further back. The ball now spotted at the 40-yard line.
So to match that 41, you'd have to get to the Randolph-Macon 24, and now you've got to do that from the 40 and not have a timeout. 14.7 seconds left, and talked about Bridgewater's 3 unforced fumbles last week, huge in the loss to Hampden-Sydney. (25-20, 15 down to the 10-yard line. Number 3, Trey Stevens. 5.2 to go. They hurry, get to the line. When they restart the clock, they'll spike it. And they do. 2 seconds to go. Now, I think the Eagles coaching staff, if somebody's watching, they're going to look at the officials and go, it did not take us 3.2 seconds to spike the football.
Yeah, I think they gave him time to get to the line of scrimmage. That probably a little bit of a quick runoff, and now it's going to be a decision as to whether they bring on their kicking team or not.
2 seconds are on the clock currently, and the football is at the Randolph-Macon 12. Scroggins comes off the field. There is huge confusion right now. The kicking team is running onto the field, and that includes the kicker himself.
Yes.
He wasn't ready.
Their holder, number 88, Schrader's yelling for his kicker to come on the field.
It's a 29-yard attempt, left hash, Logan Weiss. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And for the first time in 3 weeks, Randolph-Macon will give up points in the first half. On the final play of the first half, we go to the half on homecoming 2018. A wild sequence there, but the Eagles have to be happy to at least have points on the board. It's Randolph-Macon 17 and Bridgewater 3.
And it wasn't pretty at the end there, Rob. I think they managed the clock pretty effectively, but when you literally have your holder on one knee screaming for the kicker to take the field to try to get points, but they execute. They get Weiss on the field. He kicks a field goal, so it gives them a little bit of momentum going into the break. And they had great field position for the good part of that first half, and finally they're able to cash in with some points at the end.
So, Marty, it certainly was not the work of art that we have seen in the first half in each of the last 2 weeks. And really, quite frankly, the first half with Washington and Lee was a pretty sight to behold as well. This one a bit uglier, this one with its share of snafus and issues. But the bottom line is you're up 2 touchdowns going to the half, and now you can make some adjustments and try to figure out, again, like last week, when they got the football to start the second half at Shenandoah, and they didn't put the gas pedal off. They went straight down there, got the touchdown, up the lead to 38-0. They were going to leave nothing to chance. We're in a similar situation here in terms of trying to seize control of this football game, because you got to feel like you're up 14, but you're only up 14.
I think the biggest difference, Rob, from this game to the last 2 weeks is the fact the slow start that your offense had. I think last 2 weeks, your defense played very well, keeping your opponent off the scoreboard, and each time your offense got the ball, they scored. And they continued to add point after point, taking advantage of each opportunity they had. Not the case today. Your offense a little bit slower. The first half, you run 27 plays for 207 yards, and not bad numbers at that point, but finally convert 3 out of 6 of your third down conversions, but time of possession relatively even.
Yes.
And I think it really wasn't until the second quarter that the Yellow Jackets began to build some momentum offensively.
Third down conversions in the first half. Bridgewater 3 of 9, Randolph-Macon 3 of 6. Trey Frederick 15 carries, 125 yards. Of course, that includes the 65-yard touchdown that got the scoring started early in the second quarter. Burke Estes 7 of 9 for 65 yards and the 8-yard touchdown pass to Sam Tanner with 3:40 to go in the half. Owen Ritter 3 catches for 47 yards, and Calvin Whitehead playing full-time for the first time in quite some time, leading the defense with 5 tackles in the first half.
So I think you really, defensively, you've done the job. You maybe challenge to give those last 3 points, but offensively, if you get a little bit better start, certainly a ball game the Jackets would like to see a little more points on the board, but nice to have a lead at half at homecoming.
Well, Marty, teams are back out. Yellow Jackets get the football to start the third quarter. What do you want to see out of this first offensive drive? I know the obvious answer is a touchdown, but I'm looking in the nuances. Can there be control? Can you begin to see the wearing down of the Bridgewater interior line? What are you going to be focusing on as the Yellow Jackets hit the field?
Well, I think you're going to get Trey Frederick some early touches, I think, to get him back in rhythm. We mentioned before he hasn't seen a whole lot of time in the second half, the last 2 ball games that we've played, just because you've had such a big lead. I think you're going to count on him a little bit more, and really just a good play from that offensive line. I think it would go a long way towards securing a victory if they're able to put points on the board out of this first drive. Certainly a Vidal field goal would be great. A touchdown would be even better. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments the Eagles make defensively. They played pretty well in the first half defensively. It wasn't really till the second half that the Jackets got on a little bit of a roll. But besides that one long run by Trey Frederick, the 65-yard touchdown run, they did a pretty nice job of bottling up the Yellow Jacket running game.
So for the first time this afternoon, it'll be the kickoff unit for Bridgewater. Logan Weiss, who hit the field goal 29 yards just before the half, will tee it up, and it's Frederick and Jordan Foster back deep in the direction of Foster from the 10. 15 up the middle, 20, 25, 30, 35, and down to the 38-yard line. So Jordan finds a seam up the middle, and Weiss, the kicker, has to help out on the tackle. Good field position for the Yellow Jackets to start the third.
And that's not something we were able to say very frequently in the first half. The Eagles did a great job of punting us deep each time. We started very difficult field position. Great return by Foster. Tackle on that play made by Devontae Womack in the middle of the field. If he doesn't come up, there's a lot more room in front of Foster.
Both teams had 18 rushing carries in the first half. Bridgewater for 52 yards. Randolph-Macon for 142. Estes under center, 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line to start quarter number 3. Fake to Frederick. He'll pick up a block. Estes with time. Now gets away and then goes down at the 34-yard line. It'll be a sack for the Eagles as Frederick was able to get a brief block, but then the pocket collapsed.
And you can see that's number 93 there, Roger White. And the front 4 for the Eagles have really played well. We called the number of 98 to Sean Davis quite a bit in the first half. That's the first sack they're going to get credit for in the ball game. And originally he had some time, and then the pocket breaks down and unable to escape.
So 2nd down from the 34. It'll be 2nd and 14 as they got to get to the 48 for a fresh set of downs. And now we have some late confusion, and Ritter comes in at the last moment, and now he's set, part of 3 wide receivers to the near side. Fake to Frederick, over the middle, complete. Looks like Gill on the catch, and he's going to drag a couple of Eagles to about the 45-yard line. So that's a very nice pickup, Marty, to eliminate the lost yardage and create a manageable 3rd down.
And you get a one-on-one opportunity on that left side there, Rob. You put 3 receivers to the right. Gill's got single coverage, and you just trust that he's going to be able to get inside position against that defender, and Estes makes a nice throw and makes it a much more manageable 3rd down.
6'1", 173-pound junior DeAndre Gill out of William Fleming High School in Roanoke. At the 46, it is a 3rd and 2. Gill here to the near side. Hoy back in. He'll set up beside Tanner. And we may have to have a timeout here. Coach Aruza looks and sees confusion on the faces of the Yellow Jackets. A couple of guys weren't sure where they were supposed to set up, and they've got to burn their first timeout. Just 1:52 into the second half.
And we see if that becomes costly later in the ball game. And a little bit different personnel. We saw Avon out there a little bit more frequently than Gill in the first half, so I don't know whether maybe some changes in your receiver positions as far as who's supposed to be on the field, but a chance to talk it over. The kickoff return gives you great field position. Big 3rd down here from the standpoint that a chance to keep the drive alive and maybe at least get across midfield. But I guess not a crucial call, but you certainly want to make sure that you get the right call and the right personnel on the field.
Because if you don't take the timeout, the confusion continues. Maybe a false start penalty, 3rd and short's now 3rd and long. Could be a play where somebody's not ready, and then there's a turnover, and suddenly the Eagles have the momentum and the football near midfield. And down only 14 points. This game's certainly going to be a long time before it is no longer in doubt for one team or the other. They're making another clock adjustment, as I believe the clock ran for a little while after the timeout had been taken. So they put 13-18 on there, 12 seconds added. 3rd down and 2 out of the Macon timeout. Owens in motion. Rolling out is Estes. Stops, looks, nobody there. Tries to run, and he won't make it. He is brought down at the 44-yard line. That is a loss of 2 and officially a sack, the second in this drive for Bridgewater. And here comes the punting unit.
And I think they were targeting Owens, your tight end, out in the flat, and he was covered up that time by number 15, Gary Ramey. So good start defensively for the Eagles. And you can see out of that timeout, Rob, you did change your personnel. You had different receivers. You came with a 2 tight end set and unable to convert on 3rd down.
So Drew on to kick it away. One man back deep at about the 15-yard line. Eagles diving for a possible block. It's taken on the run at the 22. 25, 30, 40, a block down the sideline, and Julian Drew saves the touchdown, and Bridgewater will have fantastic field position near the Randolph-Macon 38-yard line. Another big mistake on special teams.
And they've had 3 very good returns, kick and punt returns, and it's setting their offense up very nicely. In the first half, they had a couple different opportunities where they have the ball deep in Yellow Jacket territory. Now it's 1st and 10 at the 33, and we'll see whether the Eagle offense can do anything with the field position.
12:31 to go here in the 3rd. Bridgewater down 17-3. Play action, looking, got his man, complete. That's the tailback, Jalepis, coming out of the backfield. He'll go out of bounds after a nice little first down gain, maybe about 3. Second, and we'll call it 7.5.
And they were really not able to get Scroggins in much of a rhythm throwing the ball in the first half. So you wonder whether that first call is maybe to get him be able to a little bit of confidence in throwing the ball down the field.
Officially, they're going to mark the football at the 36, so it'll be a gain of 2. And it'll be 2nd down and 8 as the Eagles come up to the line. Trey Stevens here to the far side, joined by Damasi. Smith on the far side, and Scroggins under center this time. They'll bring Damasi in motion. Up the middle, Jalapis, nothing there. A host of Yellow Jackets helping out. Looking down at the bottom of the pile, Blanco's the one that initializes the hit.
DeBerry in on the tackle as well, and also Michael Sheehan getting up off the bottom of that pile.
So no gain.
All right. A crucial 3rd down, I'd say, for the Eagles. You're down by 2 scores. It's still early in the 3rd quarter, but you get a great punt return that's going to give you a good field position. And now you need to do something with it. 3rd or 4th time in the ballgame that they've had good field position and haven't really been able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, this is an opportunity here for them to make it a one-possession game if they can punch it in for 6. But right now it's 3rd down and 8 from the Yellow Jacket 36. Scroggins out of the pistol. Phillips showing blitz. Here he comes. They pick him up. Pass. Incomplete. And we get a penalty marker coming in at the last minute. And I think they're going to get Anthony Williams for pass interference. And it's going to be 1st down Bridgewater.
And Scroggins hung into the last moment to get that ball away. He had pressure in his face in the form of Blanco and DeBerry. And we're sort of screened here, Rob, with the Yellow Jacket players down in front of us. Couldn't see that play at the end of it, but they're going to call interference against Williams, it looks like.
From our vantage point, when I have to look out the side window, I also have to deal with a couple of computer monitors, and so it was really hard to see with the Yellow Jackets there on the sideline if there was contact or not, and the officials down there said yes, there was, and the football is going to be placed down to the 21-yard line. 1st and 10 for Scroggins and Bridgewater. Handoff on the jet sweep. And nothing there. Damasi is lifted up and brought down by Calvin Whitehead.
A nice play by Whitehead. He was really waiting for Damasi as he tried to turn the corner. Fights through his block and is standing there and just scoops him up and takes him to the turf. And first penalty of the ball game against the Yellow Jackets, Rob. We talked about it all season long, a very infrequently penalized team. But this one gives the Eagles a little bit of lift offensively. And Whitehead steps up and makes that big play, really showing no gain on that play.
So 2nd and 10 at the 21. Smith wide to the right side. And Stevens here to the near. They'll bring Maturi in motion. Fake the handoff. Scroggins looking. Develop the screen to the tight end, left side, down the sideline, inside the 5, and it'll be 1st and goal. Williams knocks him out of bounds and saves the touchdown at the 2. Catch made by 48 Grant Monson, and another well-designed play.
Very well designed. I didn't see who got the block, but Calvin Whitehead coming over from the middle field trying to make a tackle. Somebody took him out, and that opened the path, and Anthony Williams has to come from the opposite side of the field to make a tackle.
So 1st and goal, Bridgewater at the 2, looking to make this a one-possession game. 9:45 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Scroggins under center, I formation. He'll roll, he'll look. Back of the end zone, hops in. Did he make the catch? He did. Touchdown, Bridgewater. Hobson skies into the air. Yellow Jackets thought he stepped out of bounds, but he gets a foot in, and it is 17-9, point pending.
And that difficult throw, because you really had to lay it up there with some touch and allow your receiver to go make a play, but Scroggins rolls out. They give him time and throws it to the back of the end zone. It's either going to be caught or go out of bounds, but the Eagles this time capitalize on the field position and the Yellow Jacket penalty.
17-9. Weiss on for the point after attempt. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. He misses it wide right. So mark that down. A missed extra point keeps it still at one possession, but an 8-point margin. Randolph-Macon 17, Bridgewater 9, 9:34 to go 3rd quarter.
And a couple good calls on the part of the Bridgewater coaching staff. The play that got them down to the 2-yard line, and then well executed when you get down there to find a receiver along the back line. And a couple of the better throws we've seen from Scroggins during the course of the game. And for the first time all game long, the Eagles take advantage of the great field position that they get out of their kicking game, and they're aided by the pass interference call against Anthony Williams. But they still have to cash in, and they do so to tighten this ball game up.
So now the onus of responsibility onto the offense of Randolph-Macon to get another one of those drives like that. They had one good drive there in the first half, one textbook drive, the one that started deep, and Frederick got a good run on 1st down, and then Frederick breaks it open for 65 yards for the score. And it's time to look at, well, like the drive they had against Shenandoah, 11 plays, 87 yards, 6:10 off the clock off the Williams interception. That was the 2nd touchdown last week.
And it's going to be interesting, Rob, to see how the Yellow Jackets react. It's been a while since they've been in a tight ball game. You got to really go back to the probably early in the Washington and Lee game.
Yes. Yeah, first half in Lexington, and then before that, the Averett encounter here. Kickoff, Foster at the 10. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, still going, 40, finally brought down from behind at the 41 or 42-yard line. Jordan Foster doing some great north-south running, just rumbling up the field. Is that a penalty marker down here back where the kick was?
Yeah, all the way back here inside the 40, so
let's see what the officials have to say.
Might be offsides on the kicking team. I mean, we didn't make it down that far in the return.
It is offside on the kicking team, but I would think Randolph-Macon would refuse the penalty.
Yeah, get the ball at your own 49 after a good return.
So great field position, and Estes and company have got to cash in here, just like the Eagles were under pressure to do the same with their great field position. Under center, 1st and 10. Frederick is your lone setback. Tons of shifting Yellow Jacket style this time. And they'll bring Hoy in motion. From the 49, Frederick up the middle. Stood up immediately by 52, Rashawn Myers, the junior linebacker. No gain, 2nd and 10.
And you can see the Jackets are approaching this with 2 and 3 tight ends in the ball game, trying to line up behind that offensive line and run the ball. And that time Myers makes a really nice play at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Robbie Owen, Sam Tanner will come out. They'll send in Avent this time. Foster back in, so a bit more of the skill breakout set here.
Ritter also in, along with Hoy to that left side.
And there'll be, trips to the left. And Frederick to the left of Estes out of the pistol on 2nd and 10 at the 49-yard line. Burke flips it. Frederick complete. Midfield, 45 of Bridgewater. So that'll be a gain of 6 to set up a 3rd and 4.
And chased down again that time by Rashawn Myers, this time in open space. And it looked like he had a little bit more room, but you got to give Myers credit for catching him there in the open field.
I think one of the best things about Bridgewater's defense today, Marty, is how many times we've talked about how a tackle's been made from behind, a player coming back for a second opportunity to make a stop. You got blockers in front of you, but that doesn't matter if they're catching you and you can't see them coming.
And they've shown good speed on the defensive side of the ball, some guys with some closing speed.
So it's 3rd and 4 at the Bridgewater 45 with 8:04 to go here in the 3rd. Ritter coming in motion, rolling as Estes wants Ritter, not there. Over the middle, throws to Avent, incomplete, and we're going to get a flag. That ball was underthrown. Avent would not have made the catch, but before the ball got there, it's 28 Luke Barnum making contact, and you can't do that.
And my argument would be, I think from Coach Clark's perspective, is that I'm not sure if that's a catchable ball. It's not a great throw, and it looks like Avent's going to have to go down and try to scoop it off the turf, but
it's going to be labeled enough to where it will be.
So pass interference calls both ways. You get one called against Anthony Williams and now against Barnum for the Eagles, and Jackets will benefit this time.
And they'll get down to the Bridgewater 30 and have an automatic first down. So the Eagles cashed in on the Williams interference call. Now the Yellow Jackets need to do the same to get back to a 2-possession lead. 7:55 in the 3rd as the sun breaks out here over Day Field on Homecoming 2018. Yellow Jackets up 17-9. Estes out of the pistol. Frederick beside him. Trey, left side, breaks one tackle down to the 26-yard line. There's that 52 again, Rashawn Myers, Marty. Almost got Trey, but he was able to slip away and grab a couple of extras.
And we didn't call his name all that frequently in the first half, but certainly he's come to play here in the second half. 3rd time on this drive alone you've called his name.
He is flying all over the field right now for these Eagles who have the momentum off that touchdown. They wanted to be in the game in the 4th quarter, and they're getting closer to that as we're halfway through the 3rd. 2nd and 6 at the Eagle 26. Estes to Frederick, wants to bounce it to the left, and there is simply nothing there. The Eagles' pursuit is excellent. Trey may not even get back to the line of scrimmage.
And Braden Thompson, number 34, is unblocked from that opposite side there. And as soon as the handoff is made to Frederick, Thompson right in his face, and really just a scramble just to get back. He's going to say he lost a yard there. Good penetration.
Yeah, they're going to put him back down, let's see, 2 yards to the 28, Marty. So it's going to be 3rd down and 8 at the 28. From here, it would be a 45-yard field goal try for Vidal. But the Yellow Jackets want a first down conversion. 3rd down and 8 from the 28. See if the Eagles bring the house. Estes trying to get a screen develop, and he just has to throw it away because the screen was completely blown up. The Eagles read the play perfectly, and there was nothing there.
Thompson was there again. He was the one who had coverage for Trey Frederick on the play. And smart play by your quarterback at that point to throw it away. And they're going to run Vidal on the field. As you mentioned, a 45-yarder. His long this year is 43 twice. And they're going to give him a chance.
So Redmond will put it down on the hash at the 35 on the left hash. There is some breeze this afternoon, kind of blowing across the field. 45-yard try for the sophomore. Snap and hold is good. Kick is blocked. The kick is blocked. It is picked up by the Eagles at the 15-yard line, and now they'll try to set up a return. They'll get to the 35, the 40, and finally brought down to the 47, and we'll have a penalty marker come flying in near the end of the play. But special teams has been a hallmark for Bridgewater throughout the career of Coach Clark, and they come up big on the block.
I don't know whether they maybe try to kick that ball a little bit lower to try to get it a little bit more distance out of it, but I couldn't see whose hand came up to block it, but a clean block and then a good return, and we'll have to work through the flags at the end of the play.
Now this, may push the Eagles back if it was a hold or a block in the back penalty, as the officials confer with 6:13 to go. But momentum, Marty, is squarely on the opposite side of the field, as the Eagles will have the football with a chance. If they could score and punch in a 2-point conversion, they'd tie this football game. It is a block in the back against Bridgewater. So it'll set them back, but they will have the football after the blocked field goal. It'll be 1st and 10. Eagles at their own 35, 6:13 to go here in the third quarter. 17-9 Randolph-Macon.
You figure they've scored the last 9 points of the ball game, the 3 points to end the half, and then the touchdown to start the third quarter.
Yellow Jackets haven't had adversity in a while. They're starting to face it now. Jet sweep, no, a pitch up the middle to the tight end, and that's enough for Monson to get to midfield. 15 yards and a first down, and that's a nice wrinkle. You fake the jet sweep and just kind of pitch one up to your tight end and let him roll.
And a little bit more creative play calling, I'd say. I think the fact of Coach Clark and his staff, they've shown us a couple plays here in the third quarter that we did not see in the first half, and that's a good pickup, a good gain on first down, ball spotted at midfield.
A coach so successful like Coach Clark, Marty, you know that he's going to pour over film and go, okay, I see what's not worked against them. I've got to find something that will. And they have really started to get the engine fired up here. As you mentioned, they've scored the last 9 points here in the game. And now trying to tie it. Scroggins, play action, has to get rid of it. 33.
Vergara.
Matthew Vergara breaks open and almost had Scroggins in his sights.
And that's the way that the ball game started. A couple times they tried to roll Scroggins out, not able to protect him, and Vergara gets his hands up and really forces a very difficult throw. Scroggins really just has to throw that ball away to try to protect against the sack.
So incomplete, 2nd and 10 at midfield. 5:33 to go here in quarter number 3 that has really belonged to Bridgewater. A touchdown and a blocked field goal. Scroggins looking, pass, complete. 45, Jalopis with it. He'll be close to first down yardage. They'll say just short at the 41, and it'll be 3rd down and 1, and we have a Yellow Jacket slow to get up. That's Anthony Williams. We're going to get an official's timeout, and the trainers are going to go and check on the defensive secondary member.
And Steve McNair and Brian Sullivan in on the tackle for the Yellow Jackets. Williams laying on his back as the training staff makes his way almost to the opposite side of the field.
5:17 to go here in the third, and it will be a 3rd and 1 upcoming for the Eagles at the Yellow Jackets 41. Marty, you mentioned the return of Calvin Whitehead for a couple of plays last week. More extensive play today. The return of D'Angelo Bard today. But you would certainly hate to see Williams go down and not be available. But the good news is you've had some of those second-team secondary members get quality action the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think that at this point in the season, it's difficult to see anybody really get hurt, and we're hoping that Anthony gets back up and is able to continue to play. He had the big interception last week early in that ball game against Shenandoah, and he's now sitting up across the way. But you've built some depth back there. Steven Richardson and some others. Zion Dennis has gotten a lot of playing time as well. So I think you've got some a little bit more comfortable with your depth maybe than you were at the beginning of the season.
He's kind of gingerly, he's walking off under his own power, but favoring that right leg / ankle foot a little bit. And the training staff will bring him over and check him out. Robinson's going to check back in. Victor Robinson, 28. Barr's out there. Phillips is out there. Burns, Whitehead. 3rd and 1, and the Eagles are going to stretch the field out and put 3 wide to the near side, 2 to the far, and Scroggins is going to be all alone.
Quarterback draw, possibly.
And now Damasi will join him out of the pistol, and it's a read option, and Scroggins sees the hole and gets the first down across the 40 to the 38-yard line. So first down for the Eagles with 5:08 to go in the third, and this homecoming crowd has grown quiet, Marty.
And we talked about the Eagles, a slow start for them offensively in the first half. They've looked much better really the last 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter, and certainly here in the third quarter. Much more efficient offensively, converting on some third downs. They were 3 of 9 in third down conversions in the first half.
Much better performance so far second half for the Eagles. 38-yard line of the Yellow Jackets on first down. And there's going to be a timeout, I think, called by Bridgewater. There seemed to be some confusion there in the play call and in the setup. And the Eagles will have to burn their first timeout. 4:42 to go in the third. And the Yellow Jackets up 17-9 with a trip to Emory and Henry looming next week. We'll be on the road. As my granddaddy used to say, a fur piece away from home.
Yeah.
And our coverage will begin at 12:40 with the pregame show with the final word before kickoff with head coach Pedro Arruza. Will kick it at 1. About 25 miles this side of Bristol, Virginia / Tennessee. Randolph-Macon, Emory, and Henry next Saturday here on 102.9 The Mater, and you can listen online both at rmcathletics.com and on the TuneIn Radio app on Radial, Radiall.
I'm trying to get you an updated score as my phone refreshes here for the Emory and Henry game. They are now up 37-14 with 10:04 to play. That's over Shenandoah, the ball game being played at Emory.
Shenandoah seems like they have a hangover from last week's shocking loss from their perspective to Randolph-Macon. As we come out of the timeout, 1st and 10, Eagles at the Yellow Jacket 38. Scroggins back to pass, pump fakes, goes long. Single coverage, end zone, diving, and incomplete. Ryan Burns there on the coverage. There was a hand and an opportunity for Smith, and he just couldn't quite bring it down.
And the first time they've really protected Scroggins all day to allow him to try to throw the deep ball. And Burns had inside position, but as both guys dive, Smith actually gets hands on the football and not able to reel it in. If he comes down with that, that's going to be a touchdown.
And an incredible catch at that, as Burns did about everything that you as a secondary member can do. So incomplete, 2nd and 10 at the 38-yard line. Clock stopped on the incompletion. 4:34 to go here in the third quarter.
Pretty good throw by Scroggins in that play as well.
No doubt. And he'll work out of the pistol this time, wanting to throw again. Got a man, but overthrows him on the far sideline. Incomplete. Maturi was open inside the 20. And that time it was on Scroggins.
Yeah, I think he struggles a little bit with his accuracy. We looked at his stats coming into the ball game, under 50% in his completion, like 49.5. So that's a play where he's got an open receiver, a better throw results in a completion.
They're working on Anthony Williams here on the near sideline right below us. 3rd down and 10 at the 38. Yellow Jackets will bring 6, developing screen, complete to Jalopis, up the middle. Phillips can't get him. And another man can't get him. He'll spin inside the 20 and keep going. And he's going to dive into the end zone for the touchdown. Demetrius Jalepis kept going and going. 2 big missed tackles. And it's an extra point away from a 1-point game, or will they go for 2 to try to tie?
And they throw the screen to the opposite side from the blitz. So the really great call, and he breaks a couple tackles in the middle of the field, ran over D'Angelo Barr in the middle of the field, and takes that in for the touchdown. And looks like they're going to keep their offense on the field here, Rob, if I'm looking at that correctly.
You know, you wonder when you start trying to play the catch-up game when you miss an extra point. There's a lot of talk about that across all levels of football, and with 4:17 in the third, Bridgewater wants to try to tie this game up. Scroggins out of the pistol on the 2-point try. Jalopis beside him, back to pass, looking, dumps it all alone. Smith is good. The 2-pointer is good, and it is a tie game in Ashland, Virginia with 4:17 to go in the third quarter. 17 unanswered points for Bridgewater. Eagles and Yellow Jackets are tied at 17.
And good patience on the part of Scroggins. The play was developing to his right, and you could see DeBerry was sort of caught in no man's land. When he finally rushes the quarterback, it leaves nobody on that backside to defend the receiver. An easy throw and catch for the 2-point conversion. And all of a sudden we're tied. They've scored the last 17, they being the Eagles, scored the last 17 points of this ball game, 4:17 to play. And it's going to be interesting, Rob. We've talked a little bit of how well the Yellow Jackets have played the last 3 weeks. It's been a while since they've been in a tight ball game, and the momentum squarely on the side of the Eagles at this point.
My concern, putting my hat on as, say, a Yellow Jacket fan and kind of analyzing and looking at this game, even as early as we were coming home from Winchester last Saturday, Marty, was complacency. Always having a big challenge in the first 3 weeks of the ODAC. How to slow down Josh Brees in Washington and Lee. How to slow down De'Eric Bell in Guilford. How to make Hayden Bowserman pay for the big performance the year before here. And with Bridgewater, you thought to yourself, okay, what's the challenge? And it's complacency. It's all the hoopla with homecoming. And right now, the Yellow Jackets, they've got to find a fire because they are in a tie ball game and they're in a fight trying to stay unbeaten in the ODAC. Foster on one hop at the 4-yard line. He will get caught at about the 12 or 13-yard line by 26. Chase Rosenthal, sophomore out of Great Bridge High School in Chesapeake. And everything going the Eagles' way. The Yellow Jackets pinned deep in their own territory.
And you think about the challenge, Rob, that you talk about the challenge preparing the last couple of weeks. I think the challenge right now is you've got 4 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Can the Yellow Jackets establish a running game?
Right.
I think the fact you need to keep Trey Frederick in there, bring Eric Hoy in as well. You can see they're going to set up with 3 tight ends along that line of scrimmage, and that offensive line needs to begin to open better holes for Trey Frederick.
If you're the Yellow Jackets, it's time to get physical. It's time to win the war on the line of scrimmage, and it's time to win it decisively. First down, Frederick up the middle, hit across the 15 to the 16-yard line, a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 with 4 minutes to go in the third.
Danny in on the tackle, one of their linebackers for the Eagles.
Anthony Williams is jogging a bit here on the sideline, and I think he's going to be okay, Marty. Looks like he will check into the next defensive series for Randolph-Macon. That's good news. 2nd and 7 at the 16-yard line. Yellow Jackets need a spark. Tied at 17. Frederick bounces right side. Here comes some yardage. 20 and close to the 25. We'll see where they mark it, Marty, because all the Yellow Jackets are down there. Hard for us to see, but I think it's enough for a Randolph-Macon first down at the 24-yard line.
I think he created most of that on his own, Rob. He switched hands, the ball in his hands from left to right as he got that momentum going to the outside and tucked it away and turned the corner and got that first down for the Yellow Jackets.
Nice vision there from Trey to find what was available and make the most of it. 1st and 10 at the 24. So some breathing room for the Yellow Jackets. And now some confusion on the play call, and now they're set. Estes under center, offset I formation. They'll bring Ritter in closer. Looking for power football here. Frederick breaks one tackle across the 25. Caught from behind at the 26-yard line. That is Brandon Pitt, junior cornerback, on the tackle. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
And Denny, again with the penetration, forces that play back to the middle. He's playing behind the line of scrimmage, so limits the options for Trey Frederick. Nearly makes a play behind the line, but only a 2-yard gain for the Yellow Jackets.
2:30 to go in the third. We are tied at 17. Randolph-Macon has not scored since 3:40 to go in the second, so they've gone over a quarter without a point. Hoy in motion, fake to him. Estes pump fakes, looks for Frederick, had a player all over him, but they're going to say the ball was not catchable. Out of bounds, incomplete, and it'll be 3rd and 8.
And a better look, Rob, might have been he had both Owens and Tanner down the middle of the field. You ran 2 different tight ends down the middle of the field, and maybe a better decision to try to throw it in that direction. Tried to get it to Trey Frederick, and that would have been a very difficult pass to complete.
Yeah, I don't see how in the world he would have been able to do that. Double coverage to begin. Frederick pinned against the sideline as well. But had the ball been a lot closer to Trey, we could have had a flag. But no flag there. 3rd and 8. Yellow Jackets need a conversion. Eagles want to stop. Estes rolls to his right, looking, and nobody's there. And again, great coverage downfield, Marty. 46 for Bridgewater all over Sam Tanner. Not a thing that they could do. And Estes just threw it away, had no choice.
And I don't see a 46 on the roster, so I'm going to say that's 45 Michael McKinney, give him credit for it. But really sitting on that route at that point in time, had the tight end covered up, and the Eagles get the stop. And depending upon Julian Drew's punt, and the Jackets have not done a great job of covering on return so far today.
No, they have not. Devonta Womack is set to get this kick, and nope, he's going to call a fair catch. I thought it was going to be returnable, but he'll get it at the 33. So the Eagles will have the football in a 17-17 tie with 1:59 to go in the third quarter. Last time Bridgewater had the ball and it was a tie ball game was the opening kickoff.
Yeah, and I think that they've got the momentum. They've looked much sharper offensively. Their defense, I think, has played well really for the majority of the ball game. They got some good stops against the Yellow Jacket offense in the first half, but the Yellow Jacket offense is really stalled, and now it's a matter, can the Yellow Jacket defense get a big stop? And it's been a long time since we've had to say that.
That's correct. Maybe they can force a turnover here. Any spark that you can find to change the momentum of this game. 1st and 10, Damasi in motion. On the jet sweep. Got a blocker. And a hard hit to the 38-yard line. That's a gain of 5 yards. And it'll be 2nd down, and Damasi is going to be slow to get up. He took a heavy hit.
Yeah, Tyler DeBerry in there on the tackle. I think Damasi might have run into one of his own blockers that slowed him down, and then DeBerry finished him off.
He'll jog off the field after being looked at briefly by the trainer, but again, 5 yards on first down. Good chunk of yardage on the first down play.
And they've had much more success on first down, much more positive plays on first down, which has given them a little bit of ability to maybe open up the playbook. We talked earlier about the fact a little more creativity you've seen on the offensive side of the ball for the Eagles.
There is kind of a pensive kind of pall here over Day Field at this moment. Eagles with all the mo. 2nd and 5 at the 38. Inside handoff, the jet sweep again. 40, 45. Brought down from behind by Georgia Phillips, but Trey Stevens will pick up 7 and an Eagles first down.
Just not able to contain him. You could see that didn't even need a block. Just sort of outran the angle there to push it forward for the first down.
Coach Aruza having a word with the back judge on something. 1st and 10 at the 45. 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. We're tied at 17. Galloway in motion this time. Scroggins quarterback draw. He'll be stood up at the 46 and fall forward to the 47-yard line. 2 yards, 2nd and 8.
And that's really one of the first times in the second half that you've kept them to under 4 or 5 yards on first down. Good play calling. You're still mixing it up, and he was effective in the first half calling his own number a couple times. But Jack is doing a better job on first down this time.
Tyler DeBerry coming out of the bottom of that pile as we're under 20 seconds to go. The play clock is a second ahead of the game clock, so we'll definitely get at least one more play here in quarter number 3. At the 47, it's 2nd and 8. Scroggins got time, looking over the middle into triple coverage and almost intercepted. D'Angelo Barr had a beat on the football. That'll stop the clock with 1.6 to go. And Marty, the Yellow Jackets got away with one. One of the interior linemen moved just before the snap.
Yeah, I saw that as well. He stood up as DeBerry goes to the turf, maybe with a little bit of a cramp. But that last play, Blanco had the primary coverage, and you get a great call there, Rob, that D'Angelo Barr breaks on the ball, sees it the entire way, nearly slides in for the interception. But right before the ball was snapped, you could see someone in the Yellow Jacket line. I'm sure if they jumped forward or at least stood up, but no flag.
No flag. DeBerry being attended to. Ricky Mayfield has already checked in for Randolph-Macon. And the officials timeout with 1.6 seconds left here in the third quarter. You're listening to WHAN Ashland Richmond and W275BQ Ashland with Marty Wilson, Rob Witham along with you live. Homecoming 2018 at Day Field on the beautiful campus of Randolph-Macon College, where we now are under partly cloudy skies.
That's cleared off pretty nicely. I mean, I didn't get a chance to get out during the half, but it looks like it's at least a little warmer out there than it was before the ball game.
A little bit warmer. Yeah, I stayed. I didn't step out myself either. I stayed in the press box, talked with a few people, and great conversation there, too, with Dr. Rubenstein at halftime.
As DeBerry comes off the field.
And he's under his own power, and that's very good news. So now it's going to be 3rd and 8. From the 47, 1.6 seconds left here in the third. 17-17. Scroggins looking, airs it out, deep downfield, got a man, caught at the 5-yard line. Anthony Williams is beaten by 88 Dakota Schrader. He's been one of their big receivers all season long, Marty, and we had not called his name much this afternoon until right now.
And you could see as that play developed, he had a couple steps on Anthony Williams. Anthony tried to turn and get his hands up to see if he could get a deflection, but never really did get his head turned around. And that's the second shot they've taken down that side of the field. When they're able to protect Scroggins, he actually throws a pretty good deep ball. And that time it was right on the numbers, and for the first time, the Eagles have a chance to closing in on maybe taking the lead in this ball game.
We go to the fourth. We're tied at 17. Back after this 30. We'll take a 30-second timeout. This is Randolph-Macon College football on 102.9 The Mater. We start the fourth quarter at Day Field in Ashland, Virginia, with Marty Wilson, Rob Witham along with you. Bridgewater 17, Randolph-Macon 17. The Eagles have scored 17 unanswered and begin this final period of regulation. 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Scroggins in the pistol. Jalepis Beside him to the left, Scroggins wanting to pass, pump fake, end zone, incomplete. That was intended for Schrader. He had to dive to try to make the catch. Williams on the coverage, 2nd and goal.
And good inside position that time by Anthony Williams. Made that a very difficult throw. Nearly got a hand on the ball himself as he's laid out to make a play. So Jackets got stop on 1st down.
Williams will check out. Steven Richardson checking in. Haven't seen him as much today. As, of course, we talked about the returns of Whitehead full-time and D'Angelo Barr. 2nd and goal from the 5. Look for that tight end, Monson out there, 48, far side. Barr's going to pick him up. And now the Wildcat, Mattori with it, trying to go up the middle, and he will push the pile into the end zone. Yes, they finally signaled it. Touchdown, Bridgewater. And the Eagles take a 23-17 lead with 14:47 left in regulation.
And you talk about adversity. The first time the Yellow Jackets have faced this in really about a month, but you got to give credit to the Eagles. Offensively, they've looked like a completely different team here in the second half, and the Jackets have struggled to get their defense off the field.
You've got to go deep into the early part of the season for the last time Randolph-Macon trailed in a football game. The point after attempt is up, and it is good, but we may have a penalty marker on the play.
There was a flag. It's just going to be a matter of who it's against.
Will Weiss have to kick it again? Or will it be against Randolph-Macon and declined, and it looks like it's going to be that?
Yeah, it might have been offsides, I think, and
that is correct.
They'll take the kick.
So penalty declined, extra point good by Weiss. 24-17 Bridgewater. 14:47 in regulation. Back after this 30-second timeout. This is Randolph-Macon College football on 102.9 The Mater. The Eagles will tee it up at the 35-yard line, working with a lead for the first time today. And this is the first time Randolph-Macon has trailed in a football game in well over a month. And it may be the first time they've trailed in the fourth quarter since opening night in Baltimore against Johns Hopkins. The kick, again, trying to get over to the corner. It's Foster. He's going to fair catch the football. That was a wise move, Marty.
Yeah, I think we discovered that rule change early on in the season. The fact he's going to catch that about the 12 or 13-yard line, so it plays it well. And the rule now is you can fair catch a kickoff and automatically get it at the 25. So smart play there by Foster, recognizing the fact it might have been a struggle for him to get 12 yards on that return. He'll take the 12 yards by way of the fair catch.
Because, again, they were trying to pin him in the corner. They did last time and got him, and it was very bad field position for Randolph-Macon. Now a little bit easier to handle at the 25, but down 7. 14-20 left in regulation. And I think we're going to have another clock adjustment, Marty, because if memory serves me correctly, the touchdown was at 14:47. There is no way in the world 27 seconds should have come off the clock. And they've got it straight now. They put 14:40. It's at 14:47. Yes, they have it back. It's a fair catch. No time should have come off the clock.
That's correct.
Clock does not start until the ball is received by the receiving team. And if they do the fair catch, no time will elapse. So 14:47 to go. Clock is set. 1st and 10 for Estes and company. Down by 7. Swing to Frederick. Catches it, but had to bobble to catch it, and by the time he did, the Eagles were all over him. Back at the 20, it's a loss of 5.
And you can see the Eagle defense reacted to that very quickly, too, Rob. As soon as you sprint Frederick out to the left side, it's clear that you're going to throw the screen to him. He had 4 or 5 guys flowing in that direction, including number 52 for them, their linebacker Myers, who we've called his number quite a bit in the second half. They read that well and make a play.
2nd and 15. And if ever Randolph-Macon's offense needed a big play, it is right now. 14:10 clock running in the 4th. 2nd and 15 at the 20, down 24-17. Estes, back to pass. Looking, avoids the rush, gets out of the pocket, throws, out of bounds. Now 3rd and 15.
Heavy duress that time for Burke Estes. Had to shake off a defender. It really avoided the sack. Someone had a clean shot at him, and he rolls out and just, once he rolls to his right, still could not find a receiver.
Well, Marty, here's the other thing about Estes this afternoon. Bridgewater has done a masterful job not allowing him to use his feet.
Yep.
He had the 2 touchdown runs against Shenandoah. He had some nice plays where nothing would happen, so he tucks it and runs and gets positive yardage. Eagles are not allowing that. It's 3rd down and 15 at the 20. 13:51 remaining. Estes looking, firing far downfield. There's big contact and the penalty marker coming in. They're going for Owen Ritter, and number 5, Devonta Womack, was all over him.
And I'm not sure whether I think you just take a throw down the field at that point in time. Certainly there's contact. Question was whether Ritter's actually going to be able to get to that ball with his size. He's probably got a chance to make a play, but it's almost as if Reddick got underneath him, or number 5, Womack got underneath him and sort of almost tackled him on that play.
Yeah, there was no choice but to throw the flag there. And with Ritter being 6'5", Marty, if it's in the general vicinity, it is certainly a catchable ball. So Yellow Jackets get a huge break here and get a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 at their 35. 13:45 in regulation, 24-17 Bridgewater. Frederick up the middle, across the 40 to the 41. That's 6 yards on 1st down, and that's what the Yellow Jackets are looking for.
Ramey steps in and makes the tackle for the Eagles. Much better play on 1st down for the Yellow Jackets. We've talked about the Eagles doing a better job on 1st down. Now it gives him a little bit more manageable 2nd down.
And opens up the playbook a little bit, too. We haven't seen a lot of new wrinkles today like we have in the last few weeks. Is there something up the offense sleeve that can pull out here at an opportune time? At the 41, it's 2nd and 4. Hoy in motion, fake to him. Frederick up top. He will get the 1st down, absorb 2 hits, and fall forward to the 47 near the 48. 1st down, Randolph-Macon as they approach near midfield at 13:04 in regulation.
And Braden Thompson actually had a chance to make a tackle, maybe keep him shy of the 1st down. Frederick runs through that arm tackle and proceeds to get the 1st down for the Yellow Jackets.
Only 27 yards of total offense for Randolph-Macon in that 3rd quarter. This drive began at the 25 and then a loss of 5 on 1st down. But they've advanced to the 47, 1st and 10. Tight ends, Tanner and Owens, go left to right. Estes brings Hoy in motion. Wanting Herrick. He's wide open at the 35. The foot race is on. 1 man to beat. And Hoy is down at the 2-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by 28 Luke Barnum. But Eric Hoy for 51 yards.
And that's the play you're looking for, Rob. That you fake that jet sweep enough. Primarily you've been faking it and feeding it to Frederick. This time you find Hoy wide open in the flat.
1st and 10, quickly to the line, make it 1st and goal from the 2. Frederick, left side, walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. And the Yellow Jackets are an extra point away from tying this game, and they score for the first time since 3:40 to go in the 2nd quarter.
And, Rob, the 2 seniors we talked about earlier on in the ball game, Trey Frederick went over 4,000 career all-purpose yards last week. Eric Hoy now, that should put him over 3,000 yards in his career all-purpose. You lean on those 2 seniors to get the ball in the end zone for you to tie the ball game,
and
potentially.
Now the all-important point after attempt from Vidal to tie it up. Snap and hold are fine. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 12:10 to go in regulation. Strap your seatbelt on, fans. We're tied at 24. Back after this 60-second timeout. This is Randolph-Macon College football on 102.9 The Mater. And fans listening here on rmcathletics.com, that is the elixir that will cure what ails you. The big touchdown drive and a great play call, like you just said, Marty, a moment ago. Fake that jet sweep enough, and they were caught napping on Eric Hoy.
Yeah, a little unusual how you can lose Eric Hoy.
Yeah, how can you?
He's wide open, and he's that wide open, Rob, but you still have to execute and make the throw. And Estes does a good job of laying it out there and allowing him to make the catch, and good run after the catch by Hoy.
And so Vidal will tee it up from the 35. Our radio audience will join us here in a moment. Hope you're enjoying the action, fans. And the Yellow Jackets strike and tie it up at 24. 12:10 to go here in regulation. And so Yellow Jackets try to stay perfect in the ODAC and keep the lead. From the 4-yard line, Alex Galloway is able to return it inside the 38 to the 40. The ball came loose at the end of the play, but the officials are saying Galloway's knee was down when he hit the turf is when the ball came out. So it'll be Bridgewater football, and again, a healthy kickoff return. Yellow Jacket special teams have struggled in the return defense today.
And Galloway, a little bit, it comes right up the middle of the field, but had that ball loosely held out in one hand, and I think it's the right call that the field did cause the fumble, but questionably the ball was exposed at the end of that play.
That is never a good look. Galloway will now check in at wide receiver here to the near side and go in motion. 1st and 10, 38-yard line. Scroggins back to pass. There was a hold, and DeBerry gets away from it, and Scroggins will get a couple of yards and go out of bounds. DeBerry having trouble with a cramp, I think, and is down on the field at the 32 trying to rub it out so he can play, and now he's beating the turf, knowing he's going to have some help and come out for a moment or two. Oh, the offensive lineman on DeBerry had a fistful of 38 jersey.
Did they throw a flag on that, though? I don't think they did. I mean,
No, they did not. And it was a blatantly obvious hold. There was no doubt about it. If I can see it from up here.
Yeah. Well, I think with DeBerry, he came off the field a few moments ago. You could see he got some attention from the training staff, and it does look like a cramp in his lower left leg. So training staff back on the field now trying to work that out. He's played well today for the Yellow Jackets. He was the young man chasing Scroggins on that play, applying pressure to the quarterback. It's a big part of the Yellow Jacket defense, and scored to tie the ball game, and it's time for the Yellow Jacket defense to step up and get a stop.
They need a huge stop here. 11:56 to go in regulation. It will be 2nd down and 7 for Bridgewater at their 41-yard line. As head coach Pedro Arruza comes to check on DeBerry, he will be helped off the turf, and he will need some assistance to come off the field, and they'll come work on that cramp on the left leg of Tyler DeBerry, and they would definitely want him in down the stretch if at all possible. 2nd and 7 at the 41. Scroggins under center, and Bridgewater pretty much has abandoned the running game at this point. This time a jet sweep to Galloway, trying to get around the corner, tripped up, falls forward to the 44, gain of 3. I don't think you're going to see many more straight handoffs by the Eagles here today.
No, at that point, Georgia Phillips actually goes out and makes a pretty nice play on the edge because Galloway's got a full head of steam. If he turns the corner, he's got a lot more room ahead of him, but someone makes contact look like Phillips at the line of scrimmage to help. Very accurate pass, put it right between the numbers for Smith. Pretty good coverage there. No yards after the catch, but the completion is good enough to move the chains as the ball spotted right at midfield.
So 1st down at midfield. 10:45 in regulation. 24-24. Bridgewater looking to spoil homecoming here at Randolph-Macon. Smith in motion. Fake to him. Scroggins looking downfield. Pump fakes. Now flushed out of the pocket. Looking to run. And he'll get a few yards before he's knocked out of bounds into Yellow Jacket territory. Looks like the ball will go near the 46-yard line.
Brian Sullivan's the one who knocked him out of bounds. But again, they were looking to take a deep shot. He pump faked it once, didn't like what he saw, and then finally took off with it along that.
Eagles come to the line, and we come up on 10 minutes left in regulation. Scroggins under center. Galloway in motion. The jet sweep to Galloway again, and Georgia Phillips is all over it. Gets off his man for a loss of 1.
And, Rob, you're right. They've so abandoned the straight-ahead running play. That's become the running play of choice. I think they show it enough, and you see him coming in motion. Phillips fights off a block and makes a tackle. Great tackle at the line of scrimmage.
So, if you're the interior line for Randolph-Macon, if you're McNair, you're Sheehan. You can't be lulled to sleep with all of that. because they may want to bust one up the middle in a most inopportune time.
And the same thing you saw with the Yellow Jackets. You fake that jet sweep to Eric Horry last time, and then you throw it back the other way. So maybe they were able to build off of that.
3rd and 6. They'll say officially no gain on that carry. Scroggins, blitz coming, pass is caught. Richardson had a hand in there, but great job by Dakota Schrader. Concentration to grab it on the ground at the 37. First down, Eagles.
And Richardson actually played that pretty well, dove and got a hand out, but a better play at the back end of that by Schrader to come up with a catch.
And 3rd down conversions are piling up for these Eagles here this afternoon.
6 of 12 through the end of the 3rd quarter, which is much improved from what they were in the 1st quarter.
And here we go again with another first down now at the Yellow Jacket 37-yard line. 8:40 to go in regulation. Man in motion, jet sweep, cutting up the middle. And Phillips again off of his defender at the 31-yard line. Gerard Denham gets his first carry of the afternoon, and it's good for 6.
And Phillips doing a nice job from sideline to sideline making plays. Had to come a long way to make that tackle.
But again, nice yardage to make it 2nd down and only 4. 2 timeouts for each team. Each had to burn one early 3rd quarter, under 8:10 to go. Fake. Scroggins got a man all over him, throws it up in the air and out of bounds on the far side.
And that hasn't fooled the Yellow Jacket defense all game long, where they sort of fake the ball and roll him out. That time Vergara with both hands in his face. Scroggins lucky that ball doesn't get batted up in the air. He gets it to his opposite sideline to just get rid of it.
Now, some Yellow Jacket fans are yelling, why isn't that intentional grounding? Because he did not get out of the box, and was there anyone close to that football?
And Scroggins just checked out of the ball game. Looks like Maturi into the lineup.
So they're going to go to that Wildcat here on 3rd down and 4. Maturi will handle this play. 2 to the far, 1 to the near. Yellow Jackets need a stop from the 31. Calls his own number. Tackle lost. And Maturi will dive forward close to 1st down yardage, and I think he's going to get it. He gets away from a Yellow Jacket who could have stopped him for no gain to force 4th down.
And bounces off the tackle there at the end for Giannis Blanco to really take any doubt out of it. Once he ricochets off of that tackle and falls forward, I think he's pretty confident he's got the 1st down.
So to the 26, another 3rd down conversion for Bridgewater. 7:35 to go. And now the clock is becoming a factor. And 33, Matthew Vergara has come out with a cramp, and he's being attended to on the sideline. Tons of adversity for this defense of Randolph-Macon. Scroggins directing traffic out of the pistol. Quarterback draw. Stood up at the 25. Georgia Phillips again. He is playing inspired football right now, and the Yellow Jackets need it.
Got a little bit of help at the end there by Steve McNair, but you're right. You can see that number 11 step right into the hole and just stand the ball carrier up and push him backwards.
He gets 1 to the 25. It's 2nd and 9. Maturi out. That's 3 Stevens out. 80, the tight end Clefman will check in. Smith will go wide to the far side, so will Alex Galloway. And the 2 tight ends will shift from right to left. Galloway in motion. Inside handoff to Galloway. Cuts up the middle, and he's brought down by D'Angelo Barr after a gain of only 2 to the 23.
A little bit different look that time. They brought him on the jet sweep, and then he reversed motion and came back, and they still fed it to him. So they're doing everything they can to try to get the ball in the hands of Galloway late in the ball game.
So here we go again, Marty Wilson. Another 3rd down situation. This one, 3rd and 7. At the 23, the clock coming up to 6 minutes to go. Eagles are milking the time off of this 4th quarter clock. Yellow Jackets desperately need a 3rd down stop. 2 to the near, 1 to the far. 3rd and 7. Scroggins looking. Now he wants to run. Nothing there. Mayfield coming. Throws. And a receiver comes back to him and catches the football. At the 15-yard line, it is 48, and that should be Monson, the tight end. What a play by Scroggins. Mayfield should have had him.
That's a heck of a play because he goes through his progressions the first time, nobody there, looks like he's going to run, nowhere to run. Then he steps back and finds the composure and throws the ball left side, a strike for a completion and a first down.
And great presence of mind by Monson to realize his quarterback in trouble, not only to come back to the football, but to come back at a point where if he gets the catch, he gets the first down. They're at the 15, 5:10 remaining. Galloway in motion on first down. Now a handoff up the middle, and it is open, and it is a touchdown. Demetrius Jalepis. I warned you, Marty, a few plays ago, if you lull them to sleep in the interior, they could bust one up the middle, and they just did. 30-24 Bridgewater.
And you got to really be impressed with their offense in the second half. Looks like a completely different unit. You mentioned the fact continue to convert on third down. Great play, the play just before that by their quarterback Scroggins, but they've controlled the second half.
They have controlled it in some phases of the game. They have dominated this second half. Weiss on for the extra point attempt. He's missed one so far today. Snaps good, holds good, kick is up, and that kick is good. Eagles 31, Yellow Jackets 24, and at 5:03 to go, Marty, the back of my mind, I'm thinking you need to plan as if this will be the last time you get the football.
I think that's a correct statement, Rob, and I think we've talked a little bit about as efficient as the Yellow Jackets have been offensively, they really haven't thrown the ball all that well today. I mean, you look at the third quarter stats in front of me. Burke Estes was 9 of 14 for 83 yards. So a team that usually looks to run first and throw second, you're in a situation now where you might not have that option. 7 points down, depending upon where you get the ball after the kickoff, but all of a sudden you're behind and possibly need to drive a long field to put points on the board.
I remember us saying this as we got set to kick off in Lexington 3 Saturdays ago. This is ODAC football. There are no gimme Saturdays. There are no Saturdays off. Every team will come after you, especially if you're alone atop the conference. And that's exactly what Bridgewater has done since about 2 minutes left in the second quarter when they went on that drive and got the field goal with no time remaining. And that started the momentum shift, which briefly ended as Randolph-Macon tied the game. But now it's back in the Eagles' corner, up by 7 with 5:03 left. Frederick, Foster, back deep. And Nathan Chaput to kick it away. He'll try to angle it again. Foster this time at the 5 will return. 15, 20, 25, and down near the 30-yard line. Ball came loose, but the officials say knee down at the 30. No fumble, and the Yellow Jackets will have it 70 yards from tying the game and 4:54 to work with 2 timeouts.
And, Rob, I think on the part of the Eagles, we talked about coming in. Last week they kept getting close to getting back in the ballgame against the Tigers, but the 5 turnovers really didn't allow them to really have a chance to win the ball game in the end. They've cleaned that up today. Besides a couple of the penalties they've had, they've played a much cleaner ball game. I think the fact you eliminate the mistakes and you see that they're all of a sudden they're not a bad football team.
No, they're not. And they are an inspired football team right now. Their defense, they are fired up, ready to make the big stop here and try to wrap this up and score the big upset. First down and a penalty marker coming in. Is that a delay of game on Randolph-Macon?
Yes, it is.
Holy cow. How do you let that happen?
They're going to cost you 5, and all of a sudden the hole that you're in gets a little bit deeper.
1st and 15. You know, it's uncharacteristic for the Yellow Jackets to commit a penalty, period, but to commit a delay of game on a first down, first play of your drive, is just unfathomable to me. And now, as you mentioned, the hole deeper. 1st and 15. At the 25-yard line, Tanner and Owens will move right to left. And now we get a timeout called by head coach Pedro Aruza. And I wouldn't want to be within 70 yards of Coach Aruza right now.
Yeah, I don't know whether you're right. The delay of game certainly not a great way to start the drive, but I'm not sure in this situation where he looks at the play and the personnel he has in there and maybe doesn't like the setup, and we'll take a look to see when they come back on the field to see whether he changes personnel and maybe the approach to this next play.
There had to be something going on for him to burn one of 2 precious timeouts with 4:53 to go in regulation. Yellow Jackets with the ball, but facing a 1st and 15 after a delay of game at their 25-yard line. We entered this afternoon with Randolph-Macon completely controlling their destiny in the ODAC. And if Bridgewater gets this shot across the bow, it would be a seismic shift in the conference race with 3 weeks to go. First and 15. Estes under center. The two tight ends switch sides. Hoy in motion. Handed to Eric. Tries to find a seam around the corner. Falls forward near the 28, close to 3 yards. And it'll be second down. Dustin Green helping out on the stop.
I think that's what you're going to need to do on this drive. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. That means Trey Frederick and Eric Hoy primarily. And similar to what we talked about with Galloway, they try to find every way they can to get the ball in his hands. You're going to have to get it through Frederick and Hoy this time.
Gill and Redmond will check, and they'll go far side. Owen Ritter here to the near. Second down and 12 at the 28-yard line. Fake to Frederick. Estes looking. Owen Ritter open, overthrown, incomplete, and a penalty marker coming in.
Late flag, but I think it's probably the right call. It happened right in front of us at about the 47-yard line. A lot of contact, and number 6, their DB, Brandon Pitt, gets tangled up with Ritter. Ritter fights his way through and continues downfield, but it certainly impeded him, did not allow him to go down and make a play on the ball.
If there is no contact, Ritter could catch that football, and they're going to call it defensive holding rather than pass interference, but that brings with it, I think, the much bigger point of an automatic first down. So now you can put the delay of game behind you. You get a fresh set of downs, first down and 10, and the football will be placed at the 38-yard line with 4:09 left in regulation. Yellow Jackets down 7. They're having some issue getting the chain moved, and so we have a brief delay on the far side. And now they'll get it set. First down and 10 with 4:09 to go. Frederick breaks it open. Trey down the left sideline. Frederick does it again. Touchdown. Trey Frederick. Touchdown. Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. 62 yards. The senior comes through.
It's amazing, Rob. At the beginning of that play looks a little bit harmless. He's just trying to find an opening, trying to find a lane to run. When he finds it, he finds that second gear. And again, for the second time today, developing down in front of us, you can begin to count the guys who no longer have a chance to catch him as he's racing the length of the field.
Marty gets to count with the finger again. 62 yards to go with the 65-yard run of the first half to pay dirt. The point after from Vidal is good. We are tied 31-31 with 3:59 to go in regulation. Wow.
Don't need to throw the ball if you got a guy like that.
I tell you
line
one
up
thing.
And you get him a seam, and at that point, I think that one of the most electrifying guys in the ODAC. I mean, just nobody touches him. He turns the corner and he's off to the races. Second time we've seen that today, and you know, when you got a big play guy like that, he doesn't need a whole lot of room and just takes it for pay dirt and ties the ball game now. So you got under 4 to play, and your defense needs to go on the field to get his stop.
Yeah. Now there's 2 steps here to this process, Marty Wilson. Number 1, this special teams, they got to get a stop on the Eagles. They can't let them get out to the 30, 35, 40 and beyond like they have been consistently all day. That's step 1. And then step 2, it's been a long time since the Yellow Jacket defense got a 3 and out. They desperately will need one here.
And Vidal, it'd be nice to see if he could put one into the end zone or through the end zone and not really even give the chance for DeMossi and Galloway to mount a return.
You would accept the 25 as opposed to what they've been able to manufacture here in the return game this afternoon. 3:59 to go. Tied at 31. Vidal kicks it away. It's going to go 3 yards deep, mishandled, picked up at the 2, and the Yellow Jackets are able to bring Galloway down back at the 3-yard line, and the Yellow Jacket bench comes alive. The Eagles are pinned deep in their own territory. That's step 1.
And that's Eric Hoy who makes the tackle. A couple guys had a shot at it. Galloway bobbled that ball, fields it, and tries to bring it out of the end zone. And after bouncing off a couple defenders, Hoy finally brings him down. But that's a big play on special teams for the Yellow Jackets.
All day long, Bridgewater has been taking that ball 1, 2, sometimes 3 yards deep. They've only taken a knee once. They want to be aggressive, and they've been successful in the return game. But this time a bobble cost them big time. They'll put the nose of the football at the 5. And now this Yellow Jacket defense has got to make a big stop and quick with just one timeout left in the tie and give the offense a chance to win this one. First down, Galloway, jet sweep. Richardson's there to hold him up, and he'll go down for a loss of 1 to the 4.
And right before that ball was snapped, you could see that Calvin Whitehead hustled up to the line of scrimmage, almost like an extra linebacker at the line of scrimmage. He's there to string it out and allows Richardson to make the play, and they actually lose a yard on that carry there, Rob.
At the 4, it'll be 2nd and 11. We're at 3:30 to go in regulation. And you have to wonder here, Marty, number one, Bridgewater just has to be careful with the football. They can't have a turnover here. And number two, if things don't go well, at what point do you begin to think about playing for a tie and overtime? 2nd and 11. Smith here to the near side. Richardson will cover him. Scroggins in his own end zone. Looking, passing, complete up the middle to the 15, to the 20, and down to the 25-yard line. Sullivan will make the tackle. That was a very nice play call that time, Marty, to set something up the middle.
And Yellow Jackets missed a couple tackles. He ended up getting out to the 25. Probably should have tackled him back around the 15, but certainly gives him a lot more breathing room.
And that was Maturi making another contribution this afternoon to this Bridgewater offense. So now, 2:43 to go. 1st and 10 Eagles at the 25. And the Yellow Jackets got to get the stop. Bridgewater will take their time. Play clock down to 6. Scroggins in the pistol. Galloway in motion. Scroggins to pass. Penalty marker and a sack. Jonas Blanco comes flying in and knocks Scroggins down. And let's get the penalty call. 2:21 to go in regulation. And let's see what the official has to say. It's going to go against Bridgewater. False start, Bridgewater. That'll be declined. The Blanco sack stands back at the 15. It's a loss of 10.
And we haven't called Blanco's name all that frequently today, and this time they bring him on the blitz, and bringing the extra man really pays off this time. We haven't been able to get consistent pressure against Scroggins, and this time you get the sack, and suddenly the Eagles are in a pretty deep hole.
Gillespie's checks out. Scroggins will be all alone. They bring the man in motion, Monson, the tight end. Now another man in motion. Fake the handoff, the flip pitch there to Monson up top. He'll get 5 to the 20, and that's all. They had big yards on that play earlier. It didn't work as well this time. Yellow Jackets ready.
It looked like that time Calvin Whitehead read and reacted very quickly. Comes up and helps to make the tackle along with Brian Sullivan.
3rd and 15 now at the 20, and the clock at 1:45 to go. And I would think the Eagles are going to bleed this clock, as their mantra now is either we score and win or we go to overtime.
And they've got a pretty good kicker. Weiss has got a long of 41 yards, so you figure a field goal could win this ball game for you.
1:30 to go. Play clock at 12. And they're not even trying to get to the line of scrimmage. I think we're going to get a timeout call here by Bridgewater. They'll bleed the play clock to 1 and call timeout with 1:16 left in regulation.
Is that sort of telling you the fact that you're back at your own 20 and 3rd and 16, that they're going to try to run a play, punt it away, and then play for overtime?
I think it's either that or, you set up a situation to where you try to bust a big play and then get yourself in a position. But if you don't, then at least what you do is you force Randolph-Macon to burn their final timeout to save the time to try to get the football back. And then if that happens on 4th down, Marty, do you go for the block or do you set up for the return?
I think you set up for the return. I think that too many things can go wrong, I think, with the block. If you miss, you run into the punter, it keeps the drive alive. But going to be interesting, a play call here. They've had some success. We've talked about it in the second half, much more successful converting on 3rd downs. It's been a while since they've had a 3rd and 16 they've had to convert and been at this end of the field. But the Eagle offense has played much better in the second half. That sack there by Jonas Blanco was huge. In fact, the first time in a while that the Eagles have been playing from behind the chains, they've been successful getting good yardage on 1st and 2nd to keep them in pretty good down and distance.
Defense needs a stop here. 3rd and 15 from the 20 out of the timeout. Scroggins back to pass. Looking, throws. Smith complete at the 40. Whitehead slows him down to the 42, and it's another Eagle third down conversion, and they're alive with 1:07 to go.
And Smith is on the turf. Scroggins are going to come over and help him up. And now I think if you're the Eagles, ball's going to be spotted out at the 42-yard line. You've got under 107 to play. Now I think you've got a chance for probably 3-4 more first downs, which is looking at a lot, but you've got a chance of maybe getting field goal range.
You would think they'd want to get to at least the 25 of Randolph-Macon. That is 25, 30.
Do the math, about
33 yards away. They need about 33 yards for a serious field goal try to win it. Scroggins looking over the middle, overthrowing Galloway, incomplete. Whitehead on coverage. 2nd and 10, 59.5 seconds left in regulation.
And good play at the end of that. Whitehead could see that the ball was uncatchable. Could have made a play on the receiver, but you really don't want to make any contact there to give him a possibility of really throwing that flag. Good read, the uncatchable ball, and just let the receiver be.
2nd down and 10 at the 43. The problem today has been 3rd down for this Yellow Jacket defense. Sullivan showing blitz. Handoff. Giuseppe's caught at the 46-yard line. They'll say knee down 45, gain of 2. And we get a timeout called for, and if it is a timeout, it will be Bridgewater calling it. 52 seconds to go. It'll be 3rd down and 7 or 8. We'll call it 8 at the 45. And Marty, again, here we go. When will the Yellow Jackets get a 3rd down stop?
Well, 3rd and 8, you figured last time they converted on 3rd and 16. You got to give the Eagles credit that they've been very effective on 3rd down. Thought you finally had them pinned back after that last sack, but Scroggins has played really well in the second half. I talked about the fact that maybe not as accurate throwing the ball, but he's been very accurate in the second half and made some great throws the last time they convert. And they've been really difficult to get off the field, and it's been a long time since this season the Jackets, we've been able to say that against the Yellow Jacket defense, but need to make a play here. McNair with a good tack on that last play.
Yellow Jacket defense has
now, do you
struggled.
bring pressure? I mean, at this point in time, do you try to bring the extra man? Blanco got there a moment ago. Or last week we saw a lot of success when you rush 3 and drop 8, but see what they call on the defensive side of the ball.
2 to the near, 2 to the far, showing blitz, 3rd and 8. Scroggins with the play clock at 20, steps up, looks back at the far sideline to ostensibly either get the call or the decoy. Yellow Jackets get ready again. 52 seconds left, play clock at 5. Scroggins, handoff. Giuseppe's winds his way inside Yellow Jacket territory, but he'll be a yard short of the 1st down at the 48. And that will bring up a 4th and 1. McNair helping out on the stop.
And this is a gutsy call because you figure if you get it, you keep the drive alive. If you don't get it, all of a sudden, if you go for it on 4th down, all of a sudden you give the Yellow Jackets great field position, and you're probably within about 25 yards of your own of getting Chris Vidal in field goal range.
Sheehan is now down. We have had a ton of Yellow Jacket defenders go down and be worked on by the training staff here in this second half. Anthony Williams for one. Tyler DeBerry was shaken up.
Yeah, DeBerry went down twice, I think. So,
and now you got Sheehan at the 45-yard line. And this is a break for Bridgewater because it's essentially a timeout that they don't have or have to take. And they have a moment to huddle and figure, okay, 4th and 1, what do we do?
Yeah, it's 4th, and it looks like it's really almost a short one if you're looking at the sticks across the way. But ball spot at the 48-yard line. They've got 30.5 on the clock, Rob. If you were able to convert on this, you keep the drive alive. You mentioned they need to get to about another 23 yards to get to the point that they'd have a fairly decent attempt at a field goal. The opposing side of that, if you don't get it here, then the Yellow Jackets have got 30 seconds to maybe throw 2 balls down the field to get Chris Vidal in field goal position.
Precisely, and now Bridgewater is going to send out the punting unit instead. My question in the back of my mind there, Marty, was are they going to play for overtime or go for the win? And unless they try a fake here, and that is certainly a possibility, they are looking at this situation and going, no timeouts. It would be hard to get our kicking team out there. As well as we've been playing, let's stop the big play from Frederick and go to extra plays and go to overtime.
And a
And now
timeout is going to be called for by the Yellow Jacket coaching staff.
they will have 17.1 seconds now on the clock, and Randolph-Macon will call their final timeout.
It didn't look as if the Yellow Jackets were lining up, Rob, to go for a block.
No.
I think Hoy was back deep, but it didn't look as if they were really crowding the line of scrimmage. So I think that I don't know whether you try to obviously get a good return if you can, but it's almost as if both teams right now, with a little over 17 seconds on the clock, ball game tied, are looking saying, okay, this is going to overtime.
It'll all come down to this fourth down play. Is it a punt? Does Bridgewater even think about a fake? Can the Yellow Jackets break a return? Emery and Henry up on Shenandoah 52-37 under 8 minutes to go. Guilford and Hampden-Sydney are tied at 35. They're in the final minute of regulation. We are tied at 31 with 17.1 seconds to go in regulation.
Could be overtime weekend in the ODAC this one.
Very well could. And now the offense comes back on the field.
Nobody back deep.
Scroggins under center. They'll push the pile, and he will get the first down. But now they got to get up off the pile, and they're going to have to clock it, and they have no timeouts. And Scroggins' helmet came off again. And so Lawton's got to fly in.
And now they're just going to take a snap. I think they just wanted to make sure that the Yellow Jackets did not get the ball back.
And Vergara has gone down for a second time, and the injury timeout is going to benefit the Eagles because they get a chance to set things up. Now, I don't think in this situation that would allow them to bring Scroggins back in. Vergara will limp off the field. There's been cramping all over the place today. They're just going to line up, and let's see if they actually do try to spike the ball or not. Let's see. They're at the Randolph-Macon 46, first down, and Lawton will spike it down to stop the clock with 9.6 seconds left. So let's reset it, Marty. It'll be second down and 10 at the Randolph-Macon 46, 9.6 seconds left. There are no timeouts left for either team. So the only way you can set up a field goal is you're going to have to get about a 20-yard gain and get out of bounds.
Or pass interference call also.
Right.
Throw the ball deep. We've seen a couple different pass interference calls go both ways in this second half. But you take a shot down the field, see if your receiver can make a play. If not, maybe get a flag. But still about 21 yards away from a decent field goal attempt.
Scroggins, will they go for it all? He's looking, and they will. Deep down the field, it's a Hail Mary near the end zone. Knocked down! Anthony Williams gets a hand up there. Time remaining, 2 seconds. Calvin Whitehead helping out as well.
And they flooded that left side. You probably got 8 players back there, 4 receivers and 4 or 5 DBs back there in play on that ball. But they'll take the same shot again, I'm thinking. They've got 2 shots. He shows the arm strength to be able to throw it that far.
And they're bringing Owen Ritter in to help play center field. And yes, they will do that. No reason not to. 2 seconds left. Bridgewater gets a Hail Mary, or we're going to overtime. Yellow Jackets only send 3. Scroggins flushed out of the pocket. He'll throw it, get knocked down by Cox. It will be incomplete, knocked away. And we're going to overtime. 31-31, Bridgewater and Randolph-Macon. We will take a 60-second timeout and get set for the overtime, fans, in an incredible homecoming Saturday at Dayfield and Ashland. We're tied at 31, back in 60 seconds. This is Randolph-Macon College football on 102.9 The Mater. Fans, the coin toss part 2 underway at midfield, and we're about to find out who will get the football first in overtime. Bridgewater scores 24 unanswered points to turn a 17-0 deficit into a 24-17 lead, and then the teams trade touchdowns, and we're tied at 31 as we get set for overtime, and it looks like Randolph-Macon will get the football first. Marty, set us up. How does it work?
And they're playing down towards Birdsong, but each team gets the ball at the 25, Robin. As you mentioned, you can get a first down, but the intent is if you score, if your opponent scores a touchdown, like the Yellow Jackets score
radio dial, PC, tablet, or mobile device. 3 wide receivers to the near. The first play of overtime. First down from the 25. Give it to Frederick. Looking for room. Got it up the middle to the 15, and that'll be a Yellow Jacket first down.
That's a good start for your overtime series. Gary Ramey steps up and makes the tackle for the Eagles.
And the big men up front, Marty, they've got to be key now. Greg Castle and company have got to come up big, get the holes, make the plays, protect Estes if they go for a pass. Ritter is in there along with Gill and Redmond. They'll all come here to the near side on first down from the 15. Estes back to Frederick. Nice patience there, but maybe a little too much. It gave Rashawn Myers time to get in there and make the tackle. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8 at the 13.
And really no hole. He was trying to find a way that use his vision to see the best path to move forward. And as he stalled out, Myers comes in from behind and makes that tackle.
Gill out, Redmond out, Hoy in, Owens in, 2nd and 8 at the 13. If you don't convert on 4 downs, then the other team gets the ball with a chance to win it with any score. Hoy in the Wildcat formation. Eric up the middle to the 5. First and goal. Randolph-Macon at the 4-yard line. You count on your seniors at a time like this. Hoy gets 9 yards.
And not that you like to settle for a field goal, but certainly that gets you well within Chris Vidal's field goal range. But now you've got it 1st and 10 at about the 4-yard line.
And now's where
first and goal at the 4, that is.
Yes, you assert your will right now. This is where the guys up front have to win the war and win it decisively. The senior back, Trey Frederick. Hoy is again in the Wildcat. 1st and goal at the 4 in overtime. Hoy off right side into the end zone. Touchdown, Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. They'll put up 6 to start overtime, 37-31. And Vidal will come in to try to add the point after.
And that's a good start, and you ride your stars at that point. Trey Frederick and Eric Hoy with almost all of the yardage on that scoring drive. But good start. Now you put the pressure on the Eagles.
Boy, senior leadership. There's nothing that can replace it. Trey Frederick and Eric Hoy. And now Vidal out of the hold of senior Christian Redmond. The all-important point-after attempt. It's up, and it's good. Yellow Jackets 38, Bridgewater 31, and now the Eagles will get the football at the 25-yard line, and the Yellow Jackets need the defensive stand to win the football game.
And now the Eagles know exactly what they need to do as well, Rob. You figure if you got the ball first, there's a possibility you have to settle for a field goal. Now they don't have a choice. They've got to score a touchdown and get the extra point in order to keep this game moving.
Does that change at all your defensive philosophy, knowing that it's a 7-point lead?
I don't think so. I think you're still going to try to get a stop, but I think that you probably enter this with a mindset you've got to keep them out of the end zone, and that really doesn't change.
So here we go, fans. Scroggins is under center. 1st and 10. Again, you can get first downs in overtime. From the 25, they'll bring the tight end in motion, fake it to him. No, he will take it. It'll be the sweep around the right side, and Monson will go out of bounds near the 20-yard line. That was a nice play by Scroggins. Looked like he was all the way to Jalepis, and it was Monson instead around right side, and we have another Yellow Jacket down, and it's Vergara for the 3rd time.
Vergara and DeBerry struggling with cramping during the course of the ball game, and this is where the depth comes in, and the defensive that you've built up during the course of the season. Georgia Phillips has come in and played well. So you've got some guys that you can rotate in, but you'd like to have your starters out there if possible.
Ricky Mayfield from Goochland High School, number 42 out there right now, spelling Vergara. 2nd and 4 from the 19. It's now the Wildcat from Atori. He's looking for room. Caught at the 17 and then pushed back. It'll be 3rd down and 2 from there. DeBerry checking back in.
And interesting, both teams have gone with that Wildcat. You take your quarterback out of the traditional set, and in both cases, you know that it's going to be a running play. I think the Yellow Jackets very rarely, if ever, throw it with Eric Hoyes in the Wildcat, and Maturi, it's the same thing. So the defense, you can limit some things or take some things away. You don't just need to key on the ball carrier and bring him to the turf.
Tight end Connor Clefman comes out. It's 3rd and 2. There is no time on the clock. We are in overtime. Scroggins back and sets up in the pistol. Jalepes beside him. They need 2 yards for a first down. Scroggins back to pass. Pocket collapses, rolling left. He will get the first down inside the 15 and get to the 13-yard line. Scroggins has done so well today when there's not been an opportunity to get enough yards in whatever situation it's been, and that's a critical first down.
And made a lot of good decisions in the second half and overtime for his Eagles as well. I think the fact that times where he recognizes not to throw the ball into a difficult situation, he's a good enough athlete. He can pick up some yards on the ground for you, and been a very good player from that. Great play out of the quarterback position in the second half.
14-yard line, 1st and 10. Scroggins under center. We are in overtime. Yellow Jackets score a touchdown. Eagles have to match. And we may have a timeout called here by Bridgewater. They didn't like something, Marty, and they'll talk it over with the 1st and 10 of the 14. It's gone final. Hamden Sydney kicks a field goal as time expires, and they defeat Guilford this afternoon 38-35. So the Tigers are now 3-1 in the ODAC, and you know that they're following this one right now.
Yeah, we probably picked up some listeners, I would think. The folks that are listening to the end of that ball game and other score, you've got Emory and Henry up 52-37, and that was with 7:45 to play at home against Shenandoah. So the team that we play next week is winning at this point in time, and the team directly behind us in the standings, Hampton Sydney, has won as well.
And Ferrum and Washington and Lee are kicking off in about 2 minutes at the top of the hour. 1st and 10 out of the timeout. Scroggins under center. They'll bring Galloway in motion from the 14. Fake it to him. Up the middle. Nothing doing. Pushing the pile. Maybe getting 2 yards. Gilepes, I believe, had the carry there. He did. And they'll give him 2 to the 12. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Stephen Hunt in now at one of the linebacker spots for the Yellow Jackets in on that tackle.
Yellow Jackets using that depth into defense because they have to. They've had multitudes of players going down with cramping issues here in this second half. And now in overtime. 2nd and 8 at the 12. Eagles must score a touchdown and convert the point after, or go for 2 and go for the win. Monson shifts from right to left. Scroggins all alone. Man in motion. Fake the pitch, and they'll do that play again to Monson. It's complete, but we get a penalty marker, and that's going to stop things. And that might be against the Eagles. The ball's placed at the 9 momentarily.
And Tyler DeBerry back in the ballgame. He was in on that tackle again, so he's cramped up twice and come out and back in.
He's essentially playing on one leg at this moment. False start against Bridgewater. I believe they had a second person go in motion there just before the snap. And so that's a 5-yard mark off back to the 17. So they'll replay 2nd down, but now it's 2nd and 12. They can get a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Monson out. They'll bring Clefman in, as well as Gilepes will check back in. Maturi is out there. Let's see where he lines up. He'll go wide to the far side, along with Stevens. Clefman in motion, sets up left of the side. Scroggins to pass, looking right side, diving, making the catch. Touchdown. It's a touchdown for Devontae Smith. And now the Eagles, do they go for 1 in the tie, or do they go for 2 in the win?
That's a heck of a catch. He laid out, well-thrown ball again by Scroggins. An interesting decision here to see whether they keep their offense on the field.
They're going for 2. They are going for the win right now. There is no sign of Logan Weiss. This is the ball game.
They converted a 2-point conversion earlier after Weiss missed that initial point after.
It all comes down to one play. Scroggins, watch him. He could scramble for 2.5. Bridgewater down 1, going for 2. Some confusion. The play and a penalty marker coming in. And it may be a false start on Bridgewater.
And that's going to change your decision, I think. It is a legal delay of game.
Oh, delay of game. Will you look at that?
So they were brave enough. They lined up and they were going to go for 2, but don't get the play off. So now this certainly changes your decision. You've got to bring your kicking team on because it's going to be from the 7, I guess, as opposed to the 2.
So it will be essentially a 25-yard extra point. And you could tell by the body language of the quarterback, Scroggins, that was no fake or trying to draw Randolph-Macon offside. They were going to go for the win. Now for the tie to make it overtime number 2. Snap's good, holds good. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 38-38, And we will go to the second overtime. Now, Marty, will we flip, and will Bridgewater get the football first in overtime too?
I think that's the way it's going to work. I think the fact that Bridgewater will get it, and they're going to go down to the opposite end of the field as well. So the Yellow Jackets chose to play towards Birdsong to start the overtime period. It looks like the officials are making their way down. So the second overtime will begin as both teams trying to score in the end zone that faces Andrew, or right down by Andrew's dorm. So give the Eagles a lot of credit on that. You figured they endured a 2nd and 12, and nice throw by Scroggins. I know I mentioned in the middle of the second half, not the most accurate passer, but he certainly has been on point in the second half. Some great throws, including that touchdown there to take this into the second overtime. And they're going to coin toss again at midfield, Rob, so it's actually going to continue to go in this direction. So I guess, and I'll admit that I haven't done an overtime game in quite a while, so I'm guessing that a little new to me, but I guess they come back to the midfield stripe each time, and that is a decision they make in between each overtime period.
This is my first Randolph-Macon college overtime covering in any form or fashion, be it newspaper, online, radio.
And the Eagles will start with the ball first.
And they'll be at the 25-yard line.
Left hash is where they've moved the ball over.
38-38. Monson will set up to the left of the line. First down. Galloway in motion. The option play. Scroggins will keep it. Big yardage. 15 and out of bounds near the 11. They run the option for the first time this afternoon, and Scroggins picks up big yardage.
And that's a wrinkle we haven't seen. To your point there, Rob, that's a straight option play for the quarterback. He's got a decision to make and ultimately makes the right decision and picks up a big first down.
Now, shades of Conridge Holloway at Tennessee 45-plus years ago. Some of my earliest football recollections. I just easily run, easily executed, 14 yards to the 11. First and 10, they can get a first down at the 1-yard line. Galloway in motion. Scroggins handoff, Jalepes hit by Blanco at the 10, falls forward, and they'll say knee down at the 10, gain of about 1. So second down, there's just a play clock, fans. There is no game clock in double overtime. You're listening to WHAN Ashland Richmond, W275BQ Ashland with Marty Wilson, Rob Witham, at a homecoming classic. Randolph-Macon 38-38 with Bridgewater. Scroggins in the pistol on 2nd and 9 from the 10. Back to pass, wants the corner of the end zone and nobody there. D'Angelo Barr on the coverage. Maturi was not even close.
And that was well played by D'Angelo Barr. He was going to be the one who makes that catch if anybody's going to be able to get to the ball, but didn't get a whole lot of pressure on the quarterback. He had time to throw and saw which receiver he looked to try to deliver it to, but just good coverage on the backside of that defense for the Yellow Jackets.
Now, I wonder if you change things. Maybe in this situation you put in just 3 or 4 and you drop 7 or 8 because you have limited real estate to work with. But then you have one of those guys up front, kind of a rover on Scroggins to make sure he doesn't take off. Some confusion here for Bridgewater. They finally get things set. Now they bring the man in motion. Third down, fake it, looking to pass, screen developing, complete to the 10 and down to the 5-yard line. That's 80, the tight end, Clefman. But that's going to bring up fourth down at the 5. They can get to the 1 for a first down, or they're going to try a field goal. Let's see.
I think this is the right call. Looks like their field goal team's coming on the field right now. Figure you need 4 yards to get that first down, and if you go and you don't get it, then the Yellow Jackets can win the ball game with a field goal.
So at least put the pressure on to make Randolph-Macon know they've got to get points. Weiss from the right hash, a 22-yard field goal attempt. Snaps a bit high. They get it up. The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. Logan Weiss from 22 yards, and it's 41-38 Bridgewater in double overtime. Well, Marty, they put it in the hands of Burke Estes and the big 2 senior leaders, Trey Frederick and Eric Hoy. They led the way on the first overtime touchdown. Can they finish the job here?
And not exactly the same as what we saw in between possessions in the first overtime, Rob. The Yellow Jackets are not faced with a situation where they need to score a touchdown.
Correct.
Certainly a touchdown wins the ball game for them, but you like to think that Chris Vidal, you get to even 10 yards for him, and he's going to be in field goal range, but that's not what you're looking to settle for here. And you're right, you've got your playmakers on the field here now, left hash, and see whether Estes and Frederick can make a play.
First down at the 25. They've got to at least get 3 on this possession. Frederick, left side, 20, 15. First down, Randolph-Macon. Frederick to the left this time for big yardage.
And his vision has been outstanding today. Really, you give him the ball behind that big offensive line, and you're almost telling him, pick a hole, find a spot to get a run, because I think the 2 big touchdowns he scored on both broke to the outside. Not necessarily designed to go to the outside, but he finds that seam, and you're just not going to catch him.
Owen Ritter comes up lame. He asks for someone to come in. Jordan Foster will do just that. First down, gain of about 10.5, football at the 14.5-yard line. A touchdown wins it. Estes, back to Frederick, cuts up the middle, falls forward to the 11. That'll be a gain of 3. Oh, wait a minute. No, they're going to say knee down at the 12, so a gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
And you try to load up on that right side of the receivers, draw so many defenders down to that right side that you maybe get a one-on-one or an unbalanced against their defense to the opposite side. Sort of spread out the defensive bit, and that time Frederick just not able to take advantage of it.
We are in double overtime, fans. The football at the 12, and the Wildcat returns. Hoy at the 12-yard line. Takes the snap, goes up the middle, and gets near the 6-yard line. They'll say knee down at the 7, and that's going to bring up a third down and about 2.5.
I would think you stay in the same formation. Hoy will probably stay in at the Wildcat position and almost run the same call. I think you have trust in that big offensive line and Trey Frederick as your lead blocker.
I totally agree with you, Marty. You put your faith and your trust in the big guys up front and in the 2 seniors who have meant so much to this program. They got to get the first down. Hoy in the Wildcat. Frederick beside him. Hoy cuts up the middle. Inside the 5, he'll be right at the first down marker.
You can see Sam Tanner there motioning that he thinks it's a first down. No official
word yet. Gill thinks it's a first down. We're waiting to see. Tanner says first down, and now the head referee says first down. So the Yellow Jackets have a first and goal at the 4. They have 4 plays to get 4 yards and to survive homecoming. Down 41-38 in double overtime, trying to wrap it up here.
And I think you stay with the same formation, Rob. I think it's going to be, actually this time it's going to be Estes in the shotgun.
So here's Estes. He's got Frederick to his right. First and goal from the 4. Frederick up the middle, and he's caught from behind at the 2.
And I just think at this point in time, that big offensive line, it's going to be difficult that they got 4 plays to get 4 yards. I think it's really going to be difficult for the defensive line and linebackers for the Eagles to get a stop. They're just so big up front in that push, and a great tailback playing behind that line.
And now it'll be second and goal from the 2. Timeout, Randolph-Macon. You get a timeout in overtime, and I think this is a wise decision here from Coach Pedro Aruza to make triple sure that everyone offensively knows exactly what's going to happen, not just on this play, Marty, but if there needs to be a next play.
Yeah, I think that, and you're right, there's no clock, so you're not in as much of a rush. You're really playing against the play clock, but I think in a pretty good situation here where you've got a couple shots to push it in, and I'm not sure whether you bring a couple of your extra tight ends in and just load up on that line of scrimmage, put a heavy package right or left, and going to be interesting to see who gets the ball, whether it'll be Frederick or Eric Hoy, but you would think it's going to be one of those 2.
You would think so, but you know what? We haven't seen Sean McDonald much today.
No, your short yardage back mid-year.
Yeah, you wonder if maybe you pull that one out at this particular moment. Let's see, or it may be a sense where the coach is looking at his 2 big seniors and going, gentlemen, get me home. Let's see.
And Frederick is not in the ball game as they break.
He is not, and it's going to be triple tight ends, and McDonald is in. Estes under center. Sean McDonald is in. Fake to McDonald. Estes rolling, throwing, and incomplete, overthrowing Robbie Owens. Now it's third down from the 2.
And I think at that point, you tell your quarterback, you fake, you're using McDonald a little bit of a decoy there, and you try to throw it to your other tight end in the corner of the end zone, and just recognizing the fact that if it's not there, just get rid of it at that point. You can't take the loss, can't throw a pick at that point.
I'm a little surprised they called a pass call, to be honest with you, Marty. 2 yards to the win. Trust the guys up front. Here we go. I formation. McDonald the lead back. Frederick back in. Estes rolling out. Pass. Touchdown! Touchdown, Robbie Owens! The Yellow Jackets win in double overtime, and the celebration is on. Randolph-Macon stays perfect in the ODAC, but boy, was it a struggle. 44-41 is your final.
And great call on that final play there, Rob. That you get your tight end wide open, but you still have to make a throw, and you puts it right on the numbers for Owens. We mentioned that the talent you've got at the tight end position all year long, and your quarterback makes a great throw. And a huge game here today, and just sort of think about this as an instant classic here on Day Field, something they'll talk about from homecoming games for a long time to come. Great battle on the field, and the Yellow Jackets stay undefeated in the ODAC.
Unbelievable grit by both teams. Bridgewater, there was nothing in Bridgewater's game for the first 28 minutes this afternoon that led us to believe that anything like this would happen. They have a key drive late in the half. They're able to get that 3 points. And sometimes you look at 3 points right at the end of the half and you go, okay, whatever. That was a critical job there by Bridgewater, because there was a time that we thought that Randolph-Macon could get a third down stop and get the football back and maybe get some points, and it could be 20-0 or 24-0 at the half. But instead it's 17-3, and then you're able to keep Randolph-Macon from doing anything almost the entire third quarter, 27 yards of total offense. And then you keep grinding. You make plays. Scroggins had a fantastic game this afternoon for the Eagles, Marty. The next thing you knew, it was 17-all, then it was 24-17, and the Yellow Jackets, for the first time since August, had to play from behind late.
And we talked about in the pregame, Rob, about the fact that the teams we played in the last 3 weeks were probably a little bit more exciting on the offensive side of the ball. Well, we got all the excitement we needed to out of the Eagle offense today. They scored 41 points in a loss, and a ball game that they really started. They didn't score their first 3 points until the last play of the first half. So they essentially scored 41 points in a half of football against a team, the Randolph-Macon defense that has played very well this year. But just a heck of an effort. Great game to watch. From a fan standpoint, I think the fact that, you can't ask for much more than this, and probably a little tighter than the Yellow Jackets would have liked, but ultimately you get a win on your homecoming.
Yes, the win on homecoming, their 6th in a row. Most importantly, with Hampden-Sydney edging Guilford this afternoon, it keeps the Yellow Jackets up a game on the Tigers atop the ODAC, with a trip to Emory and Henry coming up next Saturday.